questions he's going to get regarding Donald Trump. Because if you remember going back to the first term, when they were together, they were not necessarily seeing eye to eye. Trump was not a fan of Powell. So more questions probably to come today on that consent. Just remember, coming up tomorrow as well, we get Michigan consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock. So more inflation data tomorrow to wrap up the week. Yeah, Dara back in the seat this morning. Sharif with a couple days off. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you in this crazy day and week so far?
Yeah, lots to, good. Lots to discuss this morning. More earnings. Qualcomm with a pretty good report here to the upside. I mean, the forecast itself, better than expected, 23.3%. Remember, for Lyft, we talked about a little bit yesterday with Mobileye, teaming up with Mobileye to work on autonomous driving. So we'll touch on Lyft coming up. Qualcomm, the big one as well. I mean, Tesla, what a day yesterday for Tesla.
Tesla had a big day yesterday, but it's not getting hit as hard to the downside as what you have with DJT and PHUN, were to the two other big Trump plays. I know DJT has already hit SSR. I think fun. If it hasn't hit, it's pretty close. So we'll have to see if that, I guess, ramifications, that pullback continues throughout the session. Yeah,
holding top end of the range here for Elon Musk's Tesla today. We are downside a little bit here. This is where we closed. Downside a little bit here to the tune of about 0.3%. Guys, lots to consider here heading towards the Fed today. Good morning.
Good morning. And it's a little different today for the Fed because last time we had no idea what we were going to get. You know, it was close to 50-50 whether we were going to get a quarter point or 50 point. This time it's in the bag and not one of those we're pretty sure about it. Like it's it's not one of those where it's a poll that tells us that it's going to go one way.
It is 99.1. What was? We looked at it
yesterday. Yesterday it was 99.1. It's probably 99.4 or 99.5. There's somewhere that I could make a Dallas Cowboys joke about the certainty, but I'm going to leave it alone because I actually feel bad that they lost Dak Prescott. But as good as Qualcomm was, and as much as Lyft was better, AppLovin was the best. APP up 35%. App loving it. The puns, you just throw a million puns out there. This one is going to be it's obviously a big runner. Maybe not the best of volume, but you got to acknowledge some of the crazy earnings moves. As good as this was, yeah, if you want to look at the bad, just have a look at SolarEdge. That was disappointment. In terms of the bigger names, ARM did beat, but you know what? And we'll talk about this. When your valuation is really high, and it is bouncing already, and they did beat on the top and bottom. When your valuation is very high, 5% growth on revenue is probably not going to blow it out of the water for people. So you got to consider that. There's day two plays abound. Obviously, everything in the crypto space, and then Tesla was already shown triple top, not 290. Amazon broke the Bezos top, and Nvidia is Nvidia, which means that it's great. I don't know what else to say to. What do you even say about NVIDIA at this point? I don't know.
I mean, I just think you say one word, and I think the one word would be long, and that would be about it. Yeah, I know. Look, we had it written down yesterday. We took the top out, then it fell back in. I think the same thing could happen even today. 146.50 is right there. Dara named a stock here that I think has a good chance today to make some moves. That's going to be Tesla. So I still think it's a long. I wrote down the trade that I really like is taking out this 290 that we bounced off there yesterday. But the thing is that we're down today 0.5%. So is it going to be a little bit of a Trump hangover? Yesterday was the best day since, I think it was April of 2020. The Dow Jones was up 1,500 points, up 3+%. Like, it's absolutely insane. So there could be a hangover coming back in today. And so if that happens, then yeah, Tesla down here, like, are we going to get this gift again down in and around 280? I wrote down here on the sticky note, which is going to be on in a second, like how lucky we'd be to get this level. So I think that's actually possible. You could get a nice flush back in, right? So here's the move, 281 up to 289. Then there's the flush and then the rip. So something similar to this could happen. We could even start with a downside move here today because we're red. But I really like the name. I really like Tesla here today. I think there's lots to look at. And then just, again, not to spoil everything here, but yeah, DJT, just to show you a chart of it, It's now down 14%. I mean, the thing is, again, forget about everything but the daily. I think that's the most important to look at because you're right into this level. And if we can break below this 27, we've had to pay for shorts. I think might have been $10 for 1,000 shares or something. This thing is a little bit more expensive today. But down there, breaking through 27, we'll try to confirm that. Breaking through $27 here could be a problem for DJT with the 50 period just under 25. So I'm looking somewhere around here to go long, or where we could stop and then have a look. But for me today, gonna have to be a short on DJT. So down 14%. Funware, cheaper name if you want to play a little bit less than that. And then we haven't looked at Rumble for the last couple of days, but that's a mover.
This volume's only... DJT's volume's so much better, and then funds even pretty
shares
good.
Unavailable for DJT.
Oh, I just went to get... I see one
I
and a
pushed
quarter...
accept the price, and then it came back and said, in your face. All right, well, we'll figure that out. So right now, I just had a problem getting some shares there.
Try again. I just got
okay,
it.
yeah.
So 1.25 cents per share we have at Real Trading for DJT, which is creeping up.
Yeah, $10. So yeah, $12.50 per 1,000 shares.
Yeah, it was under that yesterday, and the day before that it was, I don't know, it was almost free. Like last week it was really, really cheap.
But it makes sense, right? It's getting more expensive to borrow because
which makes tons of sense.
Of the movement, and everybody wants it, right? It's like yesterday, everybody wanted to trade Palantir. Everybody, it's like everyone has the same watch lists, and for right now, DJT has to be on yours.
There was an interesting thing that happened, and just an aside when it comes to the amount that you pay for locates on stocks that you almost can't, almost nobody can short. When HKD was going absolutely ham. I don't know. I just got it accepted. Sometimes it's like that because they're like repricing it, or they might be changing the price.
Yeah, I guess the price is going up. Might be my guess.
Maybe. But when HKD, it had soaring it's up and up and up. The cost for the boros. Like I remember it was like a steady increase. And if you were to plot, if you just took it every single day and plotted the increase, there was a point at which it went like parabolic.
Right.
And then the point where it was like stupid parabolic, that was the top on HKD. Although that was the day that like nobody, I don't know a single person that would even considered paying the amount. I think that day you were paying $600 or $700 for 100 shares or something like that. So it was wild. So almost nobody was willing to pay. But then that was the day that it ended up crashing. That's not going to happen on DJT. But you got to pay for locates because the demand is certainly going higher. Sometimes that can be a prelude to a reversal because more people are kind of jammed into the short as it's going down.
Back to the desk.
Right, a few other things to consider here this morning. Crypto stocks right across the board under a little bit of pressure here after a big move yesterday. As we were talking about in the afternoon yesterday, all-time highs pretty much everywhere, including Bitcoin. There's IBIT right now, 1.8% downside for the ETF right now, just breaking lower as well. Trying to get back to 42.5, maybe where we were to start things off yesterday. Bit of a support area, but ton of volume going out at the end of the day for IBIT on the ETFs. This one, also Moderna. Yeah, better than expected results, and specifically pointing to COVID vaccine sales coming in higher than expectations. So bit of a move down right now. I was just looking for some comments here, potentially earnings call going through, but 7% here for mRNA.
7% for mRNA. That was certainly something I wasn't expecting, especially with the pre-market volume we were getting. So that could be an interesting one. I know there's a bit of a comment as well in some of those vaccine stocks yesterday with, I guess, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's expected to be involved in the health position, saying that he's not going after vaccines. So a bit of an interesting look. In terms of crypto, though, Coinbase was one of the biggest stocks to benefit from that rally. They closed up 31%, but they're down about 4% right now. So we'll have to see if these stocks can maintain that momentum.
I mean, if you add 30 and give back 4, I think 2 days, that's still pretty good.
Pretty solid.
The ETFs, guys, coming off here pretty good in pre-market trading.
The storm of money just comes raining down there as we see.
Healthy dip.
We've got Jerome coming through here in a minute. And I know we're not talking about the Fed. I wrote down on the sticky note, Fed Day.
Yay.
Who cares? Not me. Sorry about that, Jerome. Where's Powell?
Poor guy.
Yeah, I mean, poor guy.
He's not even in color. It's like
almost
black and
it's
white.
Almost the same. Let's see how that looks again. It's similar.
He always has.
There, he's always got the glasses.
Yeah, he always has the glasses
again.
Down.
Oh, like Neil could not block him.
Don't worry. I swatted some shots back in my day.
Oh.
Ask Zane. He knows.
Ask Zane. You swatted a guy that's 4'5"? Okay, here we go. Hold on a second.
No, when I was in junior high, this was one of our high school buddies. His junior high used to do an announcement. So he was on the other team. We played at different schools. I didn't know him at the time, but he's now my boy. He's my high school. He was actually my university roommate. But the dude's school has announcements for the top 3 plays of the day in sports.
Right.
And the number 1 the next day was just Ask Zane. Because I swatted him so bad. Like he was like
Zane.
5'1".
Yeah,
and he came baseline and it was just like and yeah.
Yeah.
But every single time I get a chance to say something about it, I make sure I do.
We'll have to make sure to send the clip to Zane.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, no, I just want to say because this was compare the profits from yesterday. So I just want to show one thing here. Well, I want to show a couple things. So the first thing here would be look at all of the markets available here at Real Trading, first of all, and the opportunities to do that. You know, like not one market here. We're going to have, I'll talk about Blue Ocean in a minute, but there's not a US market in here, right? So, I mean, as you can look, and again, we'll leave out Blue Ocean, but the opportunity to trade outside and do things a little different.
Yeah.
So congratulations right there to that. And then we had the after hours trade, right? Neil and I have been talking about this probably for a couple of weeks. I know Neil definitely been mentioning it as well. And we talked about how traders were trading it last election, and now we have access into Blue Ocean. So that's going to be the after hours trading platform. Look at this, so this was yesterday's numbers, right? So 22,000 there. This is all USD. 22,000. Then of course you have somebody trading the US markets. I mean, that's going to make perfect sense there as you get the trifecta. Then Blue Ocean again, then Blue Ocean again, then Blue Ocean again, then Blue Ocean again. Then I'm not going to say it, but there it is again. So I just wanted to just say again, congratulations to everybody there at Real Trading. This is why you should be part of what we're doing. I mean, being able to trade all these different markets, crypto markets as well, futures markets, and then over 50 plus markets worldwide. But it just gives you that opportunity to go in there. And then it was like, I know there's a lot of traders that traded, and I don't know the names, we just know the market. But I would think a name like Tesla, and I actually said this to Brendan earlier, was that I feel like the reason why a lot of traders made money on Blue Ocean was because the trade just kept going one way. It wasn't even really a trade. It was just get on board with it. Like the odds just kept getting better and better and better. And like if you started trading at 8, 9, 10 in the evening, then the odds just kept getting better and better. And like I was watching the casino. I don't know. I'm on the sports app. You can just log in and trade Blue Ocean. But like, you know, Bet365 had it as minus 300, minus 500, minus 700, minus 800, and to the point where it was minus 2,500 when I finally went to bed that Donald was going to take this one down. So at the end of the day, always opportunities, especially with the platform.
Yeah, they were limit up on DJT at one point. So like that, those numbers got made, and I heard from traders that they couldn't even trade the second part of the move on DJT. They would have made even more, but the stock was limit up. And Blue Ocean, like anything else, they have their own rules, and so DJT had moved enough that it went into a halt for them. So they still do that. But tremendous opportunities out there, and it doesn't happen like Blue Ocean. There might be like there was a Tesla event, there was last night. Really, you just got to take advantage of it when it's there. Like every 4 years, you get a little something. But yeah, what an unbelievable night that was. And then yesterday too. I mean, like, does not take anything away from the continuation yesterday.
Exactly. Today, Fed day.
Let's go.
Let's talk Chinese ADRs back to the upside today. These were by far the worst off yesterday on the Trump reaction trade. That said, we did initially sell off a little bit out of the gate here. This is XPeng, 7% right now to the upside. We sold off initially out of the gate, but then tried to hold back above $12 for the remainder of the day. Not only did we close this gap, but we're back above 2 days ago levels as well. So the only thing I saw was this. Good news, you can master XPeng's flying car in 3 hours. That sounds all kinds of safe.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at the flying car. I had seen something else on Chinese ADRs, which you can check there on our watch list. But basically, apparently, we had really strong exports coming out of China. It hit a 19-month high. So we had the Hang Seng and the CSI 300, both really strong on that. But yeah, I mean, flying cars and XPeng, definitely the more exciting of those stories, especially with XPeng kind of outperforming the other Chinese EV stocks recently.
Just the thought of being in one of those is scary enough, let alone other people around you who have only had 3 hours worth of experience in said flying car pass.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean,
remember that headline.
Yeah, that's probably a pass for me. At least the stock is doing well today. Like I don't know. I'm the flying car thing. I'm a little bit skeptical about it because logically speaking, once everything goes autonomous, there's no need. The level of efficiency that you will have on the ground where you have all the infrastructure once you have autonomous makes flying cars pointless to me. So I just don't. The Jetsons was amazing. I love
Randy comes right in here.
Yo, what's crazy is
right on Jerome.
You can't make this up.
Right on Jerome.
I found a good one too. Good man. We were thinking alike today, brother.
Good man. Good man.
Well,
how's it going?
See, that's why I always have one from the day before.
That's not a very flattering picture, is it?
That's better. Well, I mean,
no, it's not, Ramin.
It's a little
not a flattering picture.
It's a little better.
All right, Ramin, take that same picture. I'm coming over there. I'm going to take it of you. How's it going, Randy?
Could be worse.
Tesla is, almost breaking 300. It's at 290 right now. I don't know. It's down today, but let's see. I was just saying, this guy donated $250 million to the campaign. And, he can basically just pick up the phone and pretty much get whatever he wants done, I would assume. And then tariffs and everything that Trump's been talking about are going to be perfect for this guy because he's already building in the U.S. I don't, not only that, I know he's building in China and across the world as well, but companies can get exempt from tariffs. And if
true.
If any of them were going to get exempt from tariffs,
Yeah.
Thanks for the campaign money, my guy.
Play.
Very interesting play. Well, we're already. I'm already playing, man. We're already the sandbox. We're already in that one.
Exactly.
The thing about the sandbox though is it's starting to turn into quicksand real quickly.
That's been quicksand for a while.
With that one, that was pretty good. Sandbox right into quicksand. Did you like that one, Randy? This is if you stepped in. So this is the quicksand right here. You step in right now at about $11, and because you feel like this is where the sand, ends, and all of a sudden you just start to sink below, Indiana Jones style. Professor Jones. I would love a coffee.
Always coffee time. That green charts reminds me of it's not even quicksand. It's like that mud in the Neverending Story that Artex died in.
It's Dr. Jones. That's
sad.
Dr. Jones.
Sad.
Yeah,
Man, that's sad.
Look, I think we all would know which car company we should be in right now. Oh, you know which one?
Neo. No, I'm just kidding.
Forget who it was. It might have been Mitch.
No.
Let me just check this out. He was talking, someone we had on, it could have been Mitch, because I was like, Toyota.
It was Mitch.
It was
Mitch. Yeah.
I just wanted to check in on the health of Toyota here, just to see if there was any sort of, all right, not much going on there. Yeah, because I remember looking at it and saying to myself, we never look at Toyota yet, with the Prius and everything. They have the hybrid situation and, obviously a well-sold car. I don't hear too much about Toyotas anymore, but at the end of the day, 190 break. That's still a minute away. I want to check on that, up 2%. Okay, let's get back to the desk.
Few things semiconductor related to consider today. We'll touch on both Qualcomm and ARM coming up, but this one, ARM, that's not ARM, that's AM, there's ARM. Trying to get back to the upside, just popped up on a scanner in front of me here, through 140, there was some volume that went off there, but the initial move downside after the report yesterday, I haven't seen anything right now, but this thing just screaming back higher. There's been a few analysts with positive things to say this morning about ARM.
The numbers themselves are pretty positive, right? They did beat on earnings per share. They beat on sales, 5% increase year over year on revenue, and then royalty revenue up 23% year over year. They also, one thing I am seeing here, apparently free cash flow was negative $65 million per quarter, but I'm not really sure how that compares to estimates or previous quarters. That's worth noting, though. Negative cash flow, but generally seems like a pretty positive report there for ARM. I also found it interesting, both ARM and Qualcomm reporting at almost the same time on the same night, given that licensing snafu they've been up to lately.
Yeah, there's more analyst notes coming out currently on this, but that typically doesn't move the stock. But nice bounce here, guys, to start things off for ARM right now.
Yeah, ARM is, I was just saying to Sean, ARM's that stock that, when you think it's going to give you the dip buy, it's not going to. It decides otherwise. Unless you were in it in the aftermarket, the pullback in a 135 was pretty much it. So pre and post, I guess, was the way to go here on ARM. The growth was, as I said earlier, the growth was 5% on revenue. And they're obviously going to update the EPS, but it was just before this report, it was just south of 500 per share, which, I mean, come on, like 500 times earnings is just insane. 500 times earnings. It's always been the kind of thing that has to really, really grow into the valuation. And when that's the case, it needs to be perfect. So growth wasn't even the double digits. Now, they did have some strong metrics in there, which I think it's going to bounce on. And obviously, long term, you have so many institutions that are simply not selling this, and companies that are not selling this. I mean, NVIDIA wanted to own them outright, and that was a big no by the FTC. One that I couldn't even disagree with that one. Like, at least sometimes they'll say no chance in the right case. But the 135 is gone. I'd like to think, I mean, VWAP is pretty far away as well, but there was a hold at 138, which could come into play here. I still think the 135 is the real key level to work off of, so we just have to be patient and looking for it. And that's probably why NVIDIA and, to a lesser extent, Micron are going to be on my list today for chip names to play, because ARM is just so far away from the price. It would take something spectacular for it to get back down to a 135 bounce.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, hold on a second. ARM. So just real quickly here. Hey, Randy, what's going on? So we do have a new goal on here, but this is it should include Neil's name, because we're all going to be getting this. Fabian. This is Sean and Neil and Randy. We'll fix this. We'll be getting, exactly. Oh, yeah, I guess that's fine. Yeah, we'll have to go walk and get it, I guess, maybe, is the idea here, because Neil cannot. Must get brisket today. So if we get 30 super chats, then finally we'll do brisket. But I don't know, Randy. Everything seems to be involving you these days, so I don't think that you would oppose the brisket walk up to there. Exactly. Good. So I think.
How far is it?
Is it cold? It's not that cold, is it?
10-minute walk?
Yeah. 14-minute walk. It's not that far.
We're
going to the one up north.
It's actually not that.
Yeah.
But that's uphill, though. It's uphill. I walked to the restaurant the other day.
We're athletes. that walk uphill is nothing. Me and this guy will walk uphill both ways, Neil. You don't have to. You don't have to.
I'm going to be doing a lot of walking in Rome, so I probably need to practice.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying.
All right. Well, hopefully it's a brisket day.
It better be a brisket day.
You know.
We've been waiting to do this brisket day for, I think, every single Thursday or Friday for over a month now, and it's been kibosh. We just keep saying we'll do it, and then we don't do it. But
should be good.
Hopefully there's some brisket chip trades to lead to brisket day.
I like arm long. About it. I mean, Neil already went over the levels. Like, we're at 140 right here. I'm surprised at the move down. I think quarter was okay. I mean, came back in here. I like VWAP. Whenever we miss the gap, you play it back to VWAP. So the only problem is it's a down gap. So normally, when you're going short, you would think that you would wait, because it's already down so much, that you would wait for it to come back up into VWAP. But unfortunately, VWAP right now is down here. That's volume weighted average price. It's the number one indicator that I'll use to trade with. That's already down here at 137 right now. So it's almost the opposite, where you're now gapping up and looking long on a stock that's down. So it doesn't have like the ultimate confidence for me, but that would be the play right now, down into 137. So that's going to change, because it's only it's 8:55. So we'll get, in the next half hour, this will probably creep up here somewhere. But I'm looking at 137 to 138. So that would be my target there for ARM. But let it settle down. We're going to have the imbalances come out, and that should do something.
We're just talking about UAA, guys. This is what the chart looks like right now. UAA with much better than expected numbers here. It looks like right across the board, and also raising their forecast going into next year as well. A number of positive analyst notes on this. Already up 23% here for Under Armour. There is a short float on this. It's not huge. Yeah, 15% according to Trade Ideas, but nice move here for UAA.
Yeah, it's a really nice move. I think especially their last report, not super well received. But the one thing with UAA to be aware of here is they're still expecting a decline here for fiscal 2025 revenue. They're seeing it to decline at low double-digit percentage rate, including a 14 to 16% decline in North America. So UAA, that aspect of their guidance is negative, but their earnings per share guidance, they actually did increase there on a for earnings per share outlook for fiscal 2025. So mixed report there in terms of guidance, but well received and with that 15% short float.
Yeah, if anyone's confused, UA and then UAA, just two different classes of shares. One's Class C, one's Class A, I believe, or B for UAA. But I mean, it's just go where the volume is. Same company.
Yeah, UAA does typically twice or close to twice the volume, something along those lines, and that's why you're going to trade. It's the same. It's like Google versus Google. You're always going to trade Google just because it does better volume. It doesn't really make a difference. I went to check to see if Nike was doing anything on that on sympathy. Not really, like 1% for them. But this is, and shockingly, like I will cop to the fact that I have not pulled up a chart of Under Armour definitely this year. I can't remember the last time I looked at this name, and I'm surprised. Like it was already making a nice little bottom here. Like it's a good hold. You have a triple bottom, a rounded bottom, held a 50 period, and then started breaking back out. It was actually a good looking chart for a while. I really wish we had seen this before. On a weekly chart, like this hold of the 50, like that's a really good setup entry right here, like in the middle of September, where you have big bounce, hold of the 50, rejection underneath it. Once this week closes above confirmation, like you buy on this week, you're long at $8. Like that's a great looking round bottom setup where you don't have to guess the bottom. You're looking for a participation, a breakout off the bottom. This is exactly what Boeing is needing to do in a similar look. But yeah, now the 200 period is going to sit there on the weekly up here. I don't know that I want to chase, and the volume's not all that great on it either. 600,000 shares seems a little bit light for Under Armour, but it's a good looking trend. And it's a kind of setup for anyone that's always like, oh, you look at that stock that's bottom dipping or just continuing to bottom out like Rivian or like Boeing. That's the kind of setup that you want to look for. Let it show you the break, and then once it starts going and makes a reversal, you get a really good trend. And wow, that's happened really fast. Brisket is on the menu. Somehow we're already at 15,
Yeah,
and by somehow I mean we have Adrian throwing down once again. So thank you, Adrian Petrus. We're already halfway there to the brisket day for sure. So we appreciate all the viewers. Thank you guys so much for the super chats in there. We do have fun with the brisket day. We also have this poll up. How does Powell feel before rate announcements? I just put bored. It's the same every time with the exception of last time because he always looks bored. But it looks like it's most people say stressed but looks calm. Yeah, whatever it is, he has the same look every single time. He's consistent. I'll give him that.
Yeah, so we were just talking about Under Armour there. I mean, there's I want to look at Nike. I mean, the thing about Nike is you have Hoka and you have so on and so forth. But yeah, look, still bad, right? I mean, we're seeing some Chinese names bounce to the upside here today. But again, just wondering about some importing and exporting there with the new president and what that might mean for a lot of goods that are made in China. And obviously with Nike being what Nike is and what they do, they're over there in China. So looking to buy some Nike maybe. We sold out of this position. We talked about that when it got that bump up there on the new CEO. We were buyers down here, and I think we could be buyers down here again. I think it might be worth waiting, though. The first 100 days of the presidency should be pretty interesting, but at the end of the day, the $72 mark could be something. That's $4 away. So we'll wait to see. I think it's probably worth, buying again, a little small position there, see what winds up happening with Nike, but there it goes. Again, and it's funny, it's because it's like an iconic American brand, but it's going to have some Chinese headwinds to it. I know there's guys like Shakib and whatnot that are in the chat that have different opinions on China, and that's completely fine. I mean, I think China is going to be a great play. It's just you got to wait for levels, and I mean, who knows? Most of the time, when the trade seems obvious one way, it goes the other way. So
many times.
It's very obvious that it could be overloaded to the short maybe for China, and then it pops back up. NIO, there's still billions of people over there able to buy those cars. It doesn't all have to surround what's happening in the United States, right? So anyways, that's going to be something interesting for the Chinese EV sector. Alibaba, Pinduoduo, things like that. I mean, I don't know. The TikTok thing sort of isn't going anywhere.
No.
Meta could be a play on the new regime there. So a couple different things going on. Gold, I don't know. Didn't gold go down?
Gold was down yesterday. Which, look, obviously, when it goes, everything just went risk on. And when you get certainty out of the election, when nobody was, people weren't talking about sweep and and absolute certainty and knowing who's going to win right away. When that happened, I mean, that's going to weigh on gold. That said, if you're still going to have deficits and you're still going to have a bunch of money printing, it might be interesting to buy some dips in gold in the upcoming days and weeks. I mean, as long as the policy doesn't really change, I mean, both sides were going to spend money out the wazoo and print money as far as I'm concerned. So I think that can still work on coming back in. But yeah, it might have been a missed opportunity. It was obvious that solar was going to go down. Everyone that in marijuana, but gold was one that maybe should have made sense. Well, second it was a sweep, it's like, oh shoot, the results are known and we don't have to stress about it. Gold pullback.
Okay. Yeah, there was a super chat here. We'll just, I mean, we have to get going because we have our thing to go through. MVMI. Did you trade this yesterday? I think he's asking you about it. Or is it NVMI? There's two symbols in here. Hold on a second. NVMI. Yeah, that would be it, I get. Nova Limited, is that what you're looking for? Or is the other one MVMI? Yeah, it must be this one. So I don't know anything about this Nova Limited here. So I'm not even sure what sector we're in, if this is what you're doing, but thank you for the super chat here with NVMI. Looks like, again, without knowing what sector we're talking about here, if this is the stock you're looking at, whenever I see something like this, we like that. Comes back into support, then takes out the 50 period and takes out. I don't have VWAP or anything on my daily chart because I don't use it, but nice little move up there. Just to look, I think this looks pretty healthy. That's 190 right there on the bottom for NVMI. So yeah, it looks like you got a good stock there, JJ. So thank you for the super chat, and yeah, let's keep it going. 18 super chats so far.
Anyone joining for the first time, we have free stuff for you. Just head down to the description of this video. There's a link, top link in the description is for the watch list. All you need is your email address. And then we just send you everything you need to know every single day in the pre-market before we come on at 8:30. All the stocks that are moving and why in one neat place. Miss Adara taking care of that every single day. Let's talk about Qualcomm, top of the list this morning. Better than expected report. There was no dip whatsoever. It was just straight higher. We're coming in a little bit here. I'm just looking around for any kind of comments or headlines or anything, but nothing to worry about as far as that is concerned that I can see. I mean, still 5.5% here for Qualcomm.
Yeah, it's a nice move up still here. And I mean, it was quite the report. They beat here in earnings per share. They beat on sales. They announced a $15 billion buyback program. So quite the hefty buyback program for QCOM. The one thing I was seeing that could potentially lead to a bit of a dip would be their guidance. To be clear, they generally beat guidance here, but for both their earnings per share and revenue guidance for the next quarter, the lower end actually did miss estimates. So they guided revenue between $10.5 billion and $11.3 billion versus $10.59 billion expected. Then earnings of $2.85 to $3.05 per share versus $2.86 expected. So the lower ends of both of those just missing guidance. Generally, though, it's a strong look, and that buyback certainly well received. We did get a price chart increase this morning from Evercore ISI.
Just seeing a note here on Lucid for anyone paying attention to Lucid. You can now order the new Lucid Gravity. So that's the, I was just trying to find a picture here. That's that cool looking SUV, that concept. We talked about it a while back, but they've opened their website, I guess, for pre-orders, guys, for the Lucid Gravity SUV.
Oh, I got to get ready.
Exciting.
There. I actually want to check it out.
Oh, Lucid's up today. Good
yeah,
for
that's
them.
there. Yeah,
Good for them.
Gravity.
This would be the second update for Lucid since the disaster in the middle of October. I'd come up with a name for it, but it's no different from what's been normally going on for Lucid. But actually, you know, a bit of a bottoming tail. Maybe this has some life back in it. But like, what do you do when the stock is just a continued?
I mean, to me, this is a little bit.
I didn't like the way, if you saw it from the back, I didn't like it from the back.
Yeah.
There was another view of it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. I don't really like it. To me, for me, it's not the thing. But it says here on Reuters, as I said, 80,000. So that's interesting. But this was from November of 2023, so I don't know if that's updated.
Maybe the look
Obviously,
is
it might be an
different
updated picture on that one. But yeah, anyways, that's Lucid there.
Yeah,
So yeah, go ahead with Qualcomm.
I think with Qualcomm, Qualcomm's more of a watch and trade other chips for me today, because I think the last time we saw Qualcomm has done this before, where you have a nice move up on earnings, like a big move, and then it looks like it's starting to sell and then revert. And when it does this, I remember it dragging some things along with it the last time. So I want to be cautious that if Qualcomm can't hold the prior high, so you've gapped out and you're breaking and it's reversing a trend to the upside, everything is good about that. As long as it's holding about 180 or above the 180, I'm going to like my chip longs. You know, like I think NVIDIA is going to be good to go. I'm just a little cautious if this loses, if this gives it back to go underneath 180 bucks, it would still be green, but I think it would be a little bit much of a trend reversal if it loses that price on the daily. And at that point, I would probably be much more cautious and being patient, waiting for dip buys in NVIDIA. Certainly, if that's happening, I wouldn't like a Micron break. And this is not that they're directly related, but it's more of a sentiment thing. Like Micron, as we were talking about in the afternoon show, was kind of headed toward this 115 break. I don't like that if Qualcomm and maybe even ARM, both of them start dipping, then I think that breakout takes a different tone. So it's more of a watch for Qualcomm for me in that 180 price level as opposed to a trade, because I just simply like the other names better.
Yeah, I mean, good report. I mean, we were sitting here yesterday, and when we realized that Qualcomm was reporting, it looked like it was setting up to break. And I mean, that's pretty much exactly what it did. It does break this 175 level, but then it comes ripping right back in. So yeah, a little bit nervous hands again with this name. I mean, it's falling from yesterday's high, but again, the algos get turned on, and sometimes we get these huge moves right off the open or the release, of the report. So again, we just went over the numbers. Looks like this is going to beat everywhere guide, buyback. I mean, we love the buyback underneath that. It's good when companies are beating on EPS and guiding forward and doing a buyback. It means that not only are they expanding their business, but they're also giving money back to shareholders in forms of buying shares. So I, like the stock. Again, this is one of those classic examples where there it is coming right back into VWAP and now wants to hang around it all morning. So we'll see if it can hold. Again, looks like that 180 is going to be a level. So we'll just wait to see if it holds that. We tipped up to 180 back on October 14th or so. Then we broke out yesterday. Hasn't really had a chance to test it again. So I feel like that's what it wants to do. It wants to test the 180, probably breaks, and then I would say break and then take. So Qualcomm's a name that has to be up on someone's screen today because that's, I got to make some room for it. Because I think it could wind up breaking the 180, right, and coming back in and testing it here on the daily, and then taking it back to the upside, especially if the market does a little dip by there off the open. So yeah, I actually really like this stock. So down to like 178-ish. If we can get down into that area, I don't know. But remember, it's breaking it, then getting back up. So I like the 180 break back up if that winds up happening on a little bit of an early sell on Qualcomm. If not, I'd say leave it alone. I don't think we want to buy 190s or 188s or anything like that. So, all right, that's Qualcomm. We still got a lot to go. ARM, Lyft, DJT, Tesla, back to the desk.
There's that move we were talking about there at 9 o'clock for ARM. And here's why. Panasonic teaming up with ARM on some software software deal for design of automotive or in the automotive sector going forward. So that was that bounce. It looks like off 135 back to 140 here now for ARM. Overall, as you were mentioning, numbers not bad for the earnings report. Downside maybe on the forecast, kind of a bit of hit or miss.
Yeah, they did reiterate here their forecast for fiscal 2024, and they did actually have a higher than expected EPS guide, so that's not a bad look. The only thing I'm saying is negative was their cash flow, so it's negative $65 million for the quarter. Not sure how that compares to estimates, but that is one negative number. They beat on earnings per share. They beat on sales, annualized contract value up 13% year over year, 5% in year over year increase in revenue, and then royalty revenue up 23% year over year. So pretty strong report overall for ARM, though the stock still down about 3.5% even after the Panasonic bump.
Yeah, negative. We're getting back into some levels that came into play a couple days ago here for ARM, guys.
Yeah, it's a similar feeling to Qualcomm. This has more to do with what ARM already did as opposed to, what I like or don't like about it. Certainly in the aftermarket, we're talking 135, the bounce off. If it didn't hold that, the 200 period moving average was right there, 31 for support levels. So I was just thinking dip buy last night when this report came out and we're heading into the downside, but it's already rallied $5 off the bottom. So I don't know that I want to chase this one necessarily up here. It might just be a sit and wait. It is down 3 points. You're already at I mean, yesterday everything rallied, so I think you look like a prior day close, like this area here underneath 141. It just seems like an obvious area that if I was ever, I'm not looking short, but if I was looking short, like where else would I be thinking for short? To be at 141. So why want to be long up here on this name? Like I look over at something like NVIDIA, which isn't on the list, so like we can talk about it now. When we look at something like NVIDIA, you already know it made the breakout. It's done the consolidation off the top here. You know, prior the morning high turned into afternoon support at 140, 144 and a half, 145. Like to me, like you're $1 away from that price. That's a reasonable area that you can get a dip by and not have to wait for it to drop $5 on ARM. So I'm just going to be looking at NVIDIA instead.
Yeah, I mean, I have NVIDIA written down here as well, 146.50, the next all-time high level to take it out there on the sticky note. So you guys can have a quick look over there and we'll find out what's going on with the sticky note. But as far as ARM is concerned, okay, all right, so just real quick here. ARM to the downside. So what we were looking for here was a retracement back into VWAP. So there it comes back in. There's VWAP right there, 137 and change. So I think there's a possibility that we get that. This is one of those rare situations that we talked about where I want to stay long in this market, but at the same time, this stock, downside today when I don't think the report was that bad. Just maybe not as expected, not as robust business maybe, but we know that this is going to be a slow little grind. It's funny we don't talk about SoftBank anymore. Like I don't even know what that position is anymore for them. But 137, again, I like it. Fade it back into VWAP. I think it will hold. I think we get a dip early in the market. We may not. And if we don't, then that's fine by me. I would think a short could be in and around 146-ish area from yesterday. But again, the report looked okay, then it was bad, then it went back up, and now we're, into the flat area. Like, this at 4:30, the stock was flat. So I think there's a chance this thing gets back up to that area. So yeah, I like ARM, but I'd rather buy a dip down there to 137, a name that I think we should be involved in.
All right, let's go on to Lyft, coming back in a little bit here off the highs of 18, but holding some of these aftermarket levels from yesterday. This is what we were mentioning early on this morning, if you're with us in the first 30 minutes. This was announced yesterday, that deal with Mobileye and May Mobility to design some sort of robotaxi type solution for Lyft in response to what we heard from Tesla a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, it's very interesting too. They announced that the day before the earnings, or the day of the earnings report, the morning of the earnings report, and then we get a pretty solid report as well. They did beat here, so smaller than expected loss per share, beating on sales here. Their Q3 gross bookings grew by 16% year over year. Record active riders up 9% year over year. Record rides also up 16% year over year. They're also forecasting roughly 17% year over year growth for gross bookings. So this is a pretty strong report and strong guidance for LYFT.
You were saying you just added it to your phone and repertoire. I still don't have it on my phone. I think a lot of people use it more for maybe food delivery than anything else.
That's true too, but I mean, like, I think with food delivery as well, you've got Uber, you have DoorDash, you've Skip the Dishes. Like, there's Lyft, I would say, is not gonna. I find Uber to be a bit more reliable as well.
Yeah, I haven't tried it, but yeah, I shows how much I use it anyway.
Have food delivery?
I don't think they have food delivery, but I mean, maybe they do. They did team up. It's Adara. They did just team up with DoorDash,
with DoorDash
in the United States. I don't know, maybe it's Skip the Dishes or something.
I don't know what it is. If it is here, I don't know what it is. I don't really use them.
I used to use it for price comparisons because most drivers will actually do both. They used to.
They used not
like
as
to
much
Brendan's
anymore.
point, I haven't used Lyft in forever.
Since the beginning of COVID, for me.
I'm part of Uber One and all that. They give them promotions and this and that. So
can we acknowledge the Mobileye chart? Like I know the story was Lyft, but Mobileye, with the partnership with Mobileye has a very good rounded bottom, and it's starting to break itself out. So this has been a let's call it beleaguered stock. There's my nice way of putting it, because if I zoom this chart out, it looks terrible. So it's making a nice rounded bottom and breaking out above $16 as we speak. Its volume's not great, so this is always more of a longer term or a swing type of idea. It's never really much of a day trade. Lyft, however, when it is going, has been a day trade, plenty of times. It seems a bit much to me. I know a lot of times when something is gapped and it's really far, and it's past expectations and it's more than the expected move, I usually want to look for a continuation play. I don't have that feeling about Lyft for myself today. And when I saw this move get up into like right into 1850, when you think about that trend that this thing was on, like it's getting into some zones here where it's going to be impossible not to think for a short. And ideally, my first thought was into the 19.5 to 20 level, and it never really got there. And now they're starting to stack it up here at the 17.5. But yeah, I'm going to be looking for a short trade on Lyft today. That's where it's at. My first thought was 19.5, and it's just so far away from that if it breaks out the high, it's going to do so without me, and I'm going to be looking for a potential fade. Interesting. I just saw something on level 2. Let me get this away from Palantir level 2 and just throw up Lyft for you guys. There's some interesting size here, oddly enough. You don't always see someone just pop 100,000 shares on the bid at 9:16 in the morning before the open when the stock is only done 1.8 million shares pre-market, but then there's size all over the place. You have some EdgeX in there, 1775. It's not all that normal when a stock is up that much that you have someone willing to jam, and it's starting to bounce off of 1730s or so, and I think that order is not hurting whatsoever. But Lyft, for me, is going to be a short if it gets into the 19.5 zone. If it breaks out that top, I'll look for one of those mean reversion type setups where it's strong trend up, look for the trend revert when it gets to the level, and play it back into VWAP. So just patience for me on Lyft. And speaking of that, I never want to assume. There we go. We do have locates on Lyft. Just want to make sure they're free locates. At Real Trading, 99 point whatever % of stocks, we can short them for free, but always want to make sure you check. So when the moment comes and your setup hits and you try to go short, you don't get rejected, which has happened to me live a few times. So this time we're ready.
All right, let's continue along here. DJT continuing or extending declines pre-market, almost 15% right now on top of what happened yesterday. It was a sell the news event, big time, right out of the gate yesterday. A couple of halts on the way down. We did stabilize around 35, 34.50, 35 for DJT on the way down, but $30 here this morning. What a turnaround.
Yeah, quite the turnaround there. And it's interesting, too, the volume is not to be scoffed at. This morning when I sat down for the watch list, I think we traded around 4 million shares. Currently, I'm seeing on Trade Ideas here, 9.38 million shares and counting traded pre-market for DJT. To the downside, looks like it's continued election reactions, but we know this has had volatility in the weeks leading up to the election. Looks like we do have some resistance around that $54 area we've run into a couple of times. So let's see what happens here with DJT, but we know it can be shocking and it can reverse.
Yeah, I mean, definitely worth a watch. Sean, thoughts on Lyft there? I don't know if you got a chance to look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I know I looked at Lyft. The problem with that is I'm in Uber, but no. So look, breakout there. We like the stock. I don't have a problem trying to trade this one. I just feel that it's too big of a move for what the release was. I like all the partnerships. I would be fading Lyft for sure. As far as DJT is concerned, we went there. We've already talked about this. We went and bought some shares to be able to short this name. I just feel it's an opportunity to be flexible with it. I don't know if it's going up or it's going down, but guess what? Now we have the president. There's going to be a peaceful transfer of power. Nobody really thought at next day we would have a president-elect, and we do have that. So right now, why is it down 15%? I just he's won. It should be up, but it's not. So right there, for me, the logic is already now we have to go back to fundamentals of the business. And I don't know enough about it to say this is a buy at any certain levels. I don't even know what I'll have to look up. I don't assume it has a PE, right? I don't think it makes any money. So what's it trading on? 1,000 times sales? I don't know the numbers. So with that being said, I just have to look at the chart. And right now, it's a nice move to the downside. And we've broken through this 32 level. So I would say if you do get bumps up into 32, that's where we'd start to short it. I really do like the $34 level for sure. Palantir, what is that? Wendy bets on Palantir AI? Keep up with $1. Is this a troll or something? What does that even mean?
Wendy's bets on Palantir. Yeah.
All right, let's go find out what Alex Karp's favorite flavor of Frosty is.
It's just supply chain, guys. So they're going to use, or they have been using, Palantir's AI to know and find where individual stores are running out of ice cream, I guess. So it's been in place. They're just extending the deal.
Good. Well, hopefully they come to. I mean, the Frosty by my place always runs out, so hopefully Alice Carp will implement this.
That never used to happen. I'm just
into Canada.
I hate when they don't.
$1 Frost. I mean, I don't know if they run. I mean,
you know what's happened.
The thing is that you want it so you don't want to get like near the end where it's a little bit too liquidy. I don't mean we're getting gross here, but yeah, they do have chocolate. They had vanilla. They did have a strawberry flavor as well, and they just had a. It's funny because we were traveling and we stopped and got food, and Gia wanted to get a chicken sandwich. So Wendy's has a better one than McDonald's, and those were the only two things there on the side of the road. So you know what I had? There was the Krabby Patty, which is SpongeBob. They did a collab with SpongeBob. I think it was like a Big Mac. I don't know what it was. It just had some sort of a tangy sauce on it. So ridiculous. But anyways, okay. So for me, DJT, again, it's kind of that same play. There's the 50-period moving average. That would be something that's generally a trend changer for me. So if we come to the screen here, Fabian, we'll just show the chart one more time. There's $32 on the sell side. That to me would be the fade area. We've paid for shorts. I don't think it's worth sitting in there right away. Let's just see what it does. The play for me has been off halts. I don't think we halted yesterday, did we? At all? There was maybe early, maybe?
Yeah,
was there?
well, I know because I took...
Oh, yeah, right off the open.
It was one up halt and I tried... No, it was an up
Yeah,
halt
it must have been this one. It was probably up halted right here. Well, that would have worked. But anyways, at the end of the day, see, this is a down halt, the short. You probably took this short and maybe got stopped out because there was
there was an up halt at 9:45. It was only
okay,
one.
So there was, yeah.
And it opened flat.
Right into there. Okay, so that's why you probably lost, yeah. All right, so at the end of the day, if you're able to get in anywhere near these halt prices, like that first short worked. That second halt short worked. Again, the up halt, I guess, worked, but as Neil said, would have been hard to get out of, fades all the way back in. So yeah, as long as you're involved at these halts, then I think you want to take the way that it halts. Sometimes that's easy to say. Sometimes it's not. Like sometimes the halt will go the other way, like that did on that long. So just be careful there. I would say if it's a short, we take it. Be careful of the long until we find out more about the business.
I'm going to look for an SSR bounce on this at some point today, and it's just because it's near that $28 level on the daily. It's going to open down 10%, and obviously it made the big move yesterday. So you're going to get a couple of days where the stock is short sell restricted. And while it's down here, you've got the 50 period, I mean the 23 level, 24 level, sorry, looks really good, and then the 28 level. So kind of like SMCI, downward trend into that support level and look for a mean reversion into VWAP. So that's going to be the look for me on DJT. It has to set itself up or not going to be involved. And yeah, the good news, and I'm going to shout out to Real Trading on this one because when this opened after that halt, the reason it was like a 15, 20 cent hit was because I just took the reopen price. And if it was going to indicate an open higher and had a big buy imbalance, I probably don't take the opening price fill. But the second it was showing that it was going to open at and just below, I'm like, I'm just going to take it. And that's one of the reasons why we look at the tap value and where it's going to open. Because if it was indicating up here, I don't need to take that open price. But when it's halting up and going to open flat in the stock that you're looking for a rebound, it was an easy, maybe we should just get out of this one because I'm expecting it to gap up $1 and it's going to open, down 15 cents. I'll take that if it's not doing what I want.
All right, let's touch on Tesla. Darren and I just talking about not only how strong this thing was yesterday, but how impressive that overall, I guess, plan was for Elon Musk that pays off not only yesterday, but today as well. We're right here, right now. That was the high yesterday, 289, 290, being tested 0.2% positive, but pre-market just above that, I guess, 291. What can you say? It's impressive.
There's not much to say. There's not really any catalysts here, just, I guess, continued interest. And note, we have DJT and PHUN to the downside. TSLA still, vaguely up, but still up on the day. We're also above that multi-day, at least triple or quadruple top resistance area there of 265. So Tesla giving up this long-term resistance with that Trump pump.
Yeah, I went out on the highs yesterday right at the close, guys. So all kinds of relative strength as well.
I mean,
the imbalance is just...
The imbalances just came out. We'll have a look there quickly. But I mean, look, I like Tesla today. It's going to be one of my top plays here. I think it wants 300. If we're lucky enough to get 280, I think we go. I also think we go at 290. I like the momentum break here. I already said it. I mean, go check out the sticky note ASAP for a couple more trades. But yeah, it didn't break yesterday. That top was 289.50. We now have 5 minutes to go. I like that break through the long. I think it's going to go to $300. So I'm waiting for NVIDIA to break and I'm waiting for Tesla to break. Those are the two names right here off the open. And then also, we don't have Palantir on here, but we're almost done. I like the Palantir break as well, but that's going to be a 56 long, so we'll see if that comes into play, or a 54 dip. So a couple different plays there for me on some Trump names. Not that Palantir is a Trump name, but we keep talking about defense and USA first. Well, that's going to be a Palantir
that makes
name.
It.
So yeah, so I like it. A huge move up there for Palantir, so that's a 56 break, but I like the Tesla break better than the Palantir one at 290.
Yeah, like that's I'm not taking the NVIDIA break, maybe because the dip ended up better than the breakout yesterday, so I'm going to go with the dip on NVIDIA. But the 290 break, triple top, let's go. If it does pull back, I do like the liquidity grab at 285. So I think like before we get the next $5 down, that's where I'll look. There was obviously, it was cruising. I chuckled there because it was the second we went to Tesla, you actually saw it pull back like $1 and change. And that might have had, there isn't one. Okay, well, whatever. I thought there might have been an imbalance there. SMCI with an early imbalance of sell 900,000, and that's pretty much it. I don't think anyone cares about a NEO imbalance of 200,000 shares, and FCell is a penny stock, so $1 million on that is completely insignificant. But it is SMCI with a sell imbalance. I thought maybe Tesla had one, and that's why you had that pullback. So if we get a chance, and 285 sitting out there on a dip, otherwise we're going 290 breakout on TSLA, super strong one, obviously, as it's going. The other name I wanted to get to is, we have 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, we have a lot of time.
Yeah, we're actually not even rushed. So the trend on SoFi of all of the buying above $12 occurs in the pre-market. This is now day 2 of this. So on earnings, SoFi famously got to $11.99 and plunged $2. It's been recovering ever since. Yesterday, it was in the pre-market again above the $12 level, looking like it was going to be cruising, and then failed back underneath. You now have resistance at 12, and did a break again today. And this is why I say the importance is buyers after 9:30 for once, and then I think SoFi can go. So I wait for 9:30, and if it's holding above 12, looking long on SoFi. But it's just this pattern is unbreakable, it seems. Like the buyers just stop at the open, and when that reverses, I think SoFi's got another leg in it. Was it?
So I wrote down, NVIDIA's breaking right now. I wrote down Moderna $55, and you guys, guess what? Like we wrote this down much before 55 even came into play there. So 8:30, we had the sticky note out. There it goes, $55 came right back in, just bounced off of it, 55. So we're bidding that 55. All right, so that's going to be there. NVIDIA just broke, but it didn't. I'm not taking breaks in the pre-market. So it broke and came back in, but I'm just letting you guys know, that's why I'm not in it right now, because it broke in the pre. So I'm going to wait for it now. I mean, if it breaks within the first 10 seconds like it's going to, I guess then I'll take it. But all right, there's Tesla right there. Okay, let's just talk about NVIDIA quickly, because if we do get into this, then we've already have the 50-period moving averages down here at 146. So that might be an early place to get out. An early dip buy opportunity is 145.75. So I'm going to put that out right now just in case that comes in. We'll take a few shares down there if we do dip back in somewhere into this VWAP. So we'll do a little bit of dancing there if we come back in, but definitely not committing a lot of shares to any trade early. The market's up nicely, that's for sure. We just bounced off 21,000. That's nice.
Yeah, buddy.
So we're happy with that one. But at the same time, pretty cautious a little bit here off the open. Just a quick look at the imbalances, as we sort of mentioned them, but didn't really cover them too much. CCL, NEO, those are both bids there. There's Palantir right here at the bottom. Oops, right there as a bid. So we'll watch out for that as well. So yeah, ready to go. We only have less than, I just thought you just hit the button.
No, I'm just getting ready.
20 seconds left. Here's Palantir. Looks like it wants to break 56 as well, stat. Oh man, as Drake says. We're getting ready here to go, because This is going to be another one coming through. All right, let's get ready to go. I'm going to put that bid in to break that 156. It looks like it wants to do it anyway.
This bell brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience, revolutionizing brain health. Ring it for us there. Fabian on the bell and the ones and twos. He jumps back and forth and does a little bit of everything.
Breaks right at the open.
What?
No, it's all good. Go.
Oh, okay.
Keep going. It just broke 56, but it didn't.
So Tesla Tesla's 50 cents away. It's about to break. We're going to break any second now on Tesla. I hope I'm not jinxing it. 289.96 is now the high of the day on Tesla. No break yet. Oh, come on, Tesla, go. NVIDIA already broke out.
Yeah, we're long NVIDIA, okay. We're long Palantir. They're both not working, so hey, welcome to the show.
Come on, Tesla.
No, so right now, NVIDIA's trying to go. So we're long NVIDIA. This is a play that we liked. If we can get like 20 cents or so on the first little bit, then we'll try that. But here's a little bit of a fade back in for NVIDIA. We're going to probably give this one a little bit lower. I mean, we've seen dips. We talked about that yesterday, and we lost early on a nasty dip, right? So if this breaks 145, then we're gone out of that. We will average a little bit into NVIDIA back in. So we'll wait. It doesn't look like the break early wants to work. Oh, no, what?
What's on now?
Oh, NVIDIA? It's okay. Don't worry about it.
SoFi again?
You want me to go long more shares, NVIDIA? Okay, we got that for you. All right. So Moderna comes in into 55. So far, not so good on some of these dip buy opportunities, but we'll wait for Moderna. We like that 55 on that report. Looking for 54 break. We'll give this one about $1. Slippage could be something, maybe a little bit more than $1. All right, come on, NVIDIA. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, NVIDIA is looking pretty strong. Okay, here VWAP is starting to hold on Tesla. Tesla obviously didn't break out. It got to 96 or something like that without a break. I need to see it hold on to VWAP before. Yeah, that's a hefty turn on Tesla.
Let's go.
Yeah, hefty turn on Tesla. I'm just going to back off. I can cancel that order at least for the time being.
Or what?
No, it absolutely did not break on Tesla.
Yikes.
So it's headed right back into the downside.
But NVIDIA's
patience is patience. I guess that's the way to go. SoFi is stacking the 12 level. So I want it only above 12 after the open, which obviously it's not there just yet. So any break, any second now is going to go on SoFi.
Yo, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's go. Your boy is doing it again with the face slapper. I almost went into Ric Flair mode, which I don't want to say because there's some things in there. All right, here we go. It's nice. 147. Bang. There's 55 cents right now as we floss that one off, and we're getting ready to dance. Are we or what? 155 coming through there for Moderna. Sorry, 55 bucks. We're long Moderna, $55 right now. That's going to be a good one too. Let's get something out here for 50 cents on mRNA if we're able to. And oh boy, did Alex Karp come to save the day or not? Here comes our boy one more time. It's Palantir. Neil, we're ringing the Reggies. We're lighting the lamp. It's happening again. Is this an everyday occurrence or what? Like every single day we're coming in here and people are like, can this happen again? Well, it's happening again. NVIDIA right now trying to go look at those outs. 147.08. Okay, we'll take that. Moderna trying to make a little bit of move back, but guess what? We did it again. A couple more outs there for Moderna. Give it to the downside. Give it some space. mRNA, Palantir, NVIDIA. That was a good run up, but I mean, now we're starting to fall back in. Watch out for the market. Let's stay focused here.
Yeah, I'm going to have to stay patient. The market's still going upside. But Tesla it continues to drop. It's actually down 3. Like I'm looking at Tesla and it's not looking good, but everything else in the market is absolutely flying. ARM is absolutely gone. Meta is absolutely gone. When we're talking about the crypto names, Mara, which we wanted a dip in Mara, but it's nowhere near those dip prices. It's now holding on to VWAP. SoFi didn't break out either. So I guess all I can do is try to be patient. Like we wanted SoFi, we wanted Tesla. Tesla's not going. I was looking dip on NVIDIA. I'm glad you got that breakout, but I'm close to canceling the dips, obviously, on NVIDIA at this point because you got to look to prior high or prior high at least looks like it's going to be the play in here. Got to wait for that or VWAP, but patience is going to have to be the play for me. I'm not going to rush in anything just yet. This market is gone and we wanted some dips. But the dips came on the wrong names because I wasn't looking dip buy till 85 on Tesla and it's not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're just, like I said, man, lighting lamps, doing all this kind of stuff all day here. So let's, if we're ready for a dare, we can go there. I don't know if there was a call there or not. But yeah, so far so good. All right, let's do this. I mean, we're up 70 cents down the money on NVIDIA, waiting for Palantir to go. What's up, eh?
Keep an eye on WBT here. Warner Brothers up about 8.5%. They had earnings here missing on sales, but beating here on GAAP earnings per share, actually with an unexpected profit. They also said they're going to be looking to launch their Max streaming service in 7 Asian markets and also looking to launch in Australia. Said they have room to increase their prices as well. So pretty strong, or at least well-received report here from Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD, guys.
Warner Brothers. All right, attention. We're just in 3 names. We're going to look to get into some more. All right, so this Palantir, just a little dip buy. We'll see if we can keep going upside. I don't know why that dripped like that. Palantir is giving me some kind of worries, though, to be completely honest with you. I'm going to get out of another piece right now on NVIDIA. We did have a nice run up. We just took advantage of that again north of 147. So more outs there. I'm going to take another piece here at 80s if we can get it. There it is. We'll take that out, and now we'll wait to see what's going on with this name. But yeah, so far so good here in the space, but want to be able to try to hold on to some of these, so we're going to try to do that. Palantir, I'm giving to 54. If we can break, we even wrote down on our note that we don't want to be stubborn. So if this comes back in, we'll buy some dips down there, just making sure that we have those bids ready to go down in, not necessarily VWAP, more down here near the 200 period, like 55 50s, 55 40s. That's where we want to dip buy for Palantir. So that's what I'm going to look at right now, and then just continue to watch NVIDIA go. Ramin, you wanted this to go upside. What? I mean, I stopped selling for you. Should I sell now? I'm going to sell now, though, Ramin. We're going to start to get a little bit more out here as we are. There it is. And again, another 70 cents in the money now for NVIDIA as the king has come back again one more time. We love this stock. This is actually, I looked over. This is number 2 now in the holding. Still is Google, but this one continues to rip higher, man. NVIDIA.
Speaking of Google.
Good trade. Yeah, what's going on with Goog?
Okay, let me go to SoFi first. SoFi finally broke 12. This is the first time it's actually done something above this price in the last couple of days since earnings. So it made the break. It immediately, someone slapped a bid at 12 instantly, so I just added at ones. Once it breaks 10, I will still have 2/3 of the position and look for a move into the quarters. SoFi, it's not rarefied air. It was at 12.50 in the aftermarket one day. No, Google. And I'm only going to mention this because it is on the way to $180, and you brought it up.
Boom.
$180 is a big level. That's why I just showed the daily chart. But I still want a piece of the party on NVIDIA. But look what's happening in Tesla. No break. It was, I mean, that was a heck of a sell opportunity at 290 if you could have it. But it's pretty close to that 285 first target zone for the dip buy. And it's falling like an absolute rock right now on Tesla.
Is it?
Gonna move the target. I'm gonna have to move target maybe to 147 on the next available dip. NVIDIA is absolutely flying at this point. But Tesla, it's not looking good for Tesla right now. Pretty much everything is flying without it.
Yeah, we're taking out some more of NVIDIA right now. This is going to be your first dollar club of the day. I can't promise you that it'll be the last, but we'll take it for right now. Would love to see if Palantir can get going up into that upside. I don't know about that one, so we'll wait to see if we can get some love there for PLTR back upside. So our Moderna trade, what? I thought we had a, oh yeah, my script failed at 50. So we already got, so we have a smaller piece, which is why I'm like, what? Our script failed breaking through there. So I don't know what happened. We should have got out there on the break of 53.50 is what we were looking for there. So thankfully we don't have, you know, the biggest of pieces on right now, but doesn't make it that this is right. So we're gonna get out here as it starts to come back up a little bit on Moderna. We should have got out on this break. That's what we wanted. So to be in this still is not very responsible. So let's make our way out of this name here, Moderna. All right, so NVIDIA still making highs. All right, let's go over to Adara.
Just be aware here of NOVA. Sonova was one of the many solar names that got hit pretty hard yesterday with the Trump election. Generally, the implication is that the Republican Party is going to be a little bit negative here for these solar names in the solar sector. NOVA getting a downgrade here to neutral from Guggenheim this morning, but up about 10% right now. There is a 30% short float to be aware of for NOVA, Sonova, guys.
Yeah, we got that question on.
Wow, Amazon.
Tip name. Is Amazon just ripping up? And we're lucky enough to have.
I love Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. We're lucky enough to have NVIDIA on right now, but Amazon, do you want to talk about that? I'm not even.
No, I'm going to go to, okay, so SoFi, as I said, we're going to hang on to 2/3 of it for a break at the pre-market high. That's what it looks like. And then Amazon is going alongside Alphabet, the market, everything, as it's now above 209. I think this is, like dip buys, you can forget about it. Maybe VWAP or something like that for this, but my intention is going to be on NVIDIA on the dip. and whatever the next available is. That DXYZ, the Destiny, what's it called again? The
Yes,
Destiny
yes,
something.
the ETF,
DXYZ is halted. It's not Destiny's Child.
It is.
It's the.
Say my name. Say my name.
No, they're the ones that hold SpaceX. That's what I was trying to figure it. It's halted to the upside now. What an unbelievable move. This was like a Trump sympathy play because obviously they hold some SpaceX pre-IPO. So it's halted to the upside. Volume's actually pretty good. This could be a big runner, continuation play from yesterday. The tap is flat, but it's in New York. Yeah, there's no update on the tap, so not really sure what to tell you where it's going to open up. I just wanted to get that one to you. What an absolute mover that was yesterday. Tesla is now back and headed for that 290. That was fast.
We still have that 290 break ready to go. We're absolutely el fuego right now. I mean, Palantir is lighting it up for us right now for our account anyways. As this continues to go higher, I mean, we really like this name. We're involved, obviously, in this name in our own PA, but we're also involved right now in the name. And we've been involved in this name for a minute. We've been talking about Palantir with you guys for a very, very long time. And there it goes, another fill up at that high side right there of 56.35. So wowee, Palantir continues to go. I mean, I said that maybe we wouldn't have another Dollar Club winner. We had a Dollar Club loser on this one, though. But again, we'll flush ourselves down the toilet. It was an idea that we had. I'm not going to hate on it, but, you know, did not work out. So we get out, and that's what Moderna was today for us. So just made a move up. We still have a little piece left. I said that we missed that stop right here. It just came back up into that stop level, so potentially a good spot. All right, officially that Dollar Club now. We'll take 53s if we can get it now on NVIDIA. So that's what we're going to do right here, and then just hope for the best now on Moderna. Maybe we do get a little bit of a move higher there. Probably more outs on Palantir, but I'd like to see this one work a little bit more, so we'll give it that chance to do exactly that now to the upside for Palantir. And then, yeah, Moderna, not good, man. That was not the greatest call. I thought on earnings we had a chance to break out and hold this. The fact that we didn't down here on the daily means that's a no-go. So we should have been out of that one. And unfortunately, as we said, missed the stop there. So here comes Moderna and here comes Tesla.
Tesla again, 90, again, got right to 289, 99.
I'm still here, though, if it breaks.
And it's just sitting there. It's not even that many shares on the offer, like compared to what we saw in NVIDIA the other day. The short scalpers are...
Look at NVIDIA.
They're just winning right now. Every time it gets to that 9, look at it again, if you just scalp the short. But I think it puts in a higher, if it can put in a higher low, this time we'll go VWAP hunting. It never got down underneath that 289. So if we don't get the break, going dip into VWAP, but the break is still imminent. It's any second now. You're trading way too close to it and holding the bid a little bit better than it did last time. So I'm expecting that Tesla's going to make that breakout any second. Google is close to VWAP. But if the break happens on Tesla, that would be the preference. Obviously, we've had the order and looking for it all morning long. And if VWAP comes in, that's where I'm going to look for a dip buy if once again we fail this break. Market screaming, but there are some pullbacks looming in here. Alphabet, one of them, as you can see, Tesla starting to pull back. Alphabet's getting really close to VWAP. It'll be there in almost any second now. And of course, we're at that DXYZ open back up and still going. They love SpaceX, apparently.
I didn't even realize Randy brought this coffee. Thank you, Randy, for that.
I almost forgot about it.
So distracted.
Adara?
BROS, another earnings name here. So many here, day one earnings names. Dutch Bros up about 38% at day's highs. They beat on earnings per share. They beat on sales. They raised their fiscal 2024 guidance to the upside there. So good look for BROS with an 11.3% short float, guys.
Yeah, I do like those guys. They're Dutch Bros, their coffee. So we don't have any up here. I actually wanted to go. I think there's, I don't even think they're in upstate New York. I didn't see any Bros over there. I was just looking at this NVIDIA trade. Sorry, first of all, Palantir, more outs there. Palantir is the one dropping down, not NVIDIA. And I just took some more out on the top side there. The market's really ripping. I mean, we're up another 1%. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And let's just keep the party going. Moderna, we're still in that one. Palantir now going red. What's up with that? Palantir coming back in. So we're out of already more than half, way more than half of this trade, but doesn't mean it's a profitable one. We got hit there. We got a little bit out when that broke through 55 and change. But here it comes right back into this level.
Down.
Bitcoin's coming down. I'm going to take the opportunity to buy a little bit right now on this dip. We do have our targets, though. So my Palantir, I'm not necessarily willing to die on the sword here, but I was going to hold this until a 55 break. for Palantir. So we want to get some more. My next bid, I got maybe a little stubborn there, a little bit too early maybe on this first bid, but 55.20s into here, 55.30, 55.25. This bottom is where we want to buy it. And then if we break this low here of 90 or so, then we're going to get out of Palantir. I'm actually going to switch that now that I see where this low is. That low is 80. Yeah.
Before we go to ADRs, some of the I guess we'll call them the Trump names. They're starting to pull back a little bit heavier. Tesla had bounced off of VWAP and had gotten back to 288.5. I was able to get a third out there, but now it's retesting VWAP instantly. Bitcoin is breaking the low of the day, so you got to watch out for a bit of a reversion and maybe the leaders in the Trump space. So that's why I took some out. I'm going to take a little more out in front of 89 and all out in front of 90 because the 90 break would still be a separate trade on Tesla. Let's go to ADR.
Keep an eye on EBS here, Emergent Bio Solutions. This is one of those MPOX-related names. They have a short float of about 15%. This morning, they announced here that they have evaluated the safety and efficacy of its new clinical trial for treating MPOX in Africa. Looks like this treatment was received positively there, and apparently there's going to be another clinical trial here in Africa under the Center for Disease Control. So good look here for EBS with some updates for its MPOX treatment, guys.
Nice MPOX treatment.
MPZ.
Okay, so one name that we didn't even look at was Lyft yet, and to see if there was going to be any good trades happening there on Lyft. All right, so NVIDIA is still pulling back a little bit. We know our sort of our trade plan there for Palantir, and then we'll just wait for everything else after that. What's going on now?
Oh, no, it's not bad. ARM's going to hit 150.
Oh, but,
no, it's good. It's we're not in
trade.
ARM. It's just like ARM just broke the you know what out of it. So I'll get to Tesla in a second. ARM's only up 1.7, but you have to remember they were down. They don't let you dip buy this stock. It just feels like that's always the case. I say that because I always miss it in the long term and have like 1/10 of what I wanted. So 150 is going to be looming here. Anytime you have a reversal like this, it's going to catch people off guard, and this could really fly. As we're talking about Bitcoin and Tesla, it did end up holding VWAP. I just got to fill it in front of 89, so it hasn't broken back out above 289. You still have a lower high $1 underneath that breakout price. So I'm still thinking cover at 290 and then breakout at 290. Just have it be two separate worlds, VWAP and $290 on
right,
Tesla. NVIDIA is starting to pull. This is like the first actual pullback on NVIDIA. There hasn't been a red candle, so I mean this would be it. Let's see if it can get to VWAP, but 147 is going to sit out there as well. Market's starting to pull back in here. The NASDAQ's still up 0.8, but we're starting to get a little bit of a dip in the overall markets. Could get a chance to get into NVIDIA, but I'd like to see it curl first. Don't want to rush into it.
Yep.
Like to see these things hold a little bit. But ARM, that I guess you could have rushed into. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, good look there on, as you talked about Tesla there, sort of making that comeback a little bit back in there. So we'll have to watch out for some Tesla action coming through there momentarily. All right, so Palantir, we do get that dip buy opportunity right now. So we did take some of it. We did get a little bit out there just to give us a little bit of relief on this play. Not sure exactly, again, never sure where anything is going, but we're going to just play it by ear and see if we can't grab that back to the upside. We already do have our targets. Unfortunately, if it drips down there, that will be about a 50-cent hit here. So that's why I wanted to get a little bit lighter. We haven't been like lighting the lamp or anything today on a lot of these longs. NVIDIA's been a great one. We're now out of about 80%, maybe a little bit more than that on NVIDIA. So we are waiting for dip buys. Don't know if they come through. Now it's time just to hold on and see what happens to Palantir. So we talk about prior bar closings and things like that. I told you, we're trying to change a little bit. So that would be, we're going long. So, target to get back up there is 56.10s. Like that's that top. I don't know if it's going to get to that. I think we could be wrong. That's 56.60 is where we sort of started with here. Sorry, 55.60. I'm already trying to be wrong down here. So that's about 40, 50 cents. So yeah, I feel like targets up and in around 56, 55.80 where VWAP is that we just touched before is something to look at. So maybe that'll be something to hold on to right now as we continue to look for some more opportunities. What's up, Adara?
Another earnings play and watch here. This one's still strong. APP, AAPL in here up about 48% at day's highs. For context here, this was trading around 170 as of yesterday's close. Today, just touching 250. They beat on earnings per share and sales estimates. They authorized a $2 billion buyback program, and we've got about 11.1% short float for APP, guys.
kind of short flow.
That stock is absolutely
on
nuts.
NVIDIA.
So there were no halts on DJT, but it did make a reversal through 30. It's obviously SSR because it's down 17%, so it just made a reversal through the $30 level. I kind of missed it looking for the dip buy in NVIDIA, which I had prioritized, but as long as it holds a higher low at 30, going to look for an entry on that. Just throwing it up on another level too. If you see it pop in, that means it gave me an actual price down closer to that 30 level. NVIDIA just made a hold of 147. Okay, I'm jinxing everything. Hold of 147 and then made a big reversal just now. Was trying to get to the 75. Was looking for it to put in a green candle on the 3. Still hasn't done so. So either we get one here and I can go long in front of 47, or we wait for VWAP. Tesla's still holding above 88, so that's a good sign, but there's no test of that 90 level just yet. Still think we can break out that 90 on Tesla. Could be a big one. And ARM is absolutely flying. SoFi has not, just to recap on SoFi, it hasn't done much of anything. I took out some underneath the $12 level, held on to a piece, and now it's right back above. So now that it's holding, I'm just going to add back in and play to the high exactly like we were doing before. So not much of a change in SoFi. It's basically a 12-cent range on the day if it takes out the top. I don't know if I want to add to that because I feel like if it's taking out the top, my priority is going to be Tesla and NVIDIA. We're probably not going to add to SoFi on a break, but we'll take some breakouts here on Tesla if we can get it. Still holding higher, about $1 in the money, but it cannot get through this 289. It's just, there's a brick wall at 89s.
Nice. Like
for now.
Plays right there. Okay, just real quickly on what I'm trying to do here. We got more Palantir. So this is really the only stock that I'm somewhat concerned with right now. Obviously, as we sit here and struggle with it, we're concerned with it. So let's just wait to see where it goes. I mean, I have the targets. I'm pretty confident in where we are with these levels. So let's just wait to see if it breaks below, we'll get out. We have been doing some of that damage control right now on getting upside plays as it breaks higher. So that's sort of what I'm looking at right now with this name, is just to try to see if we can get some kind of, momentum here in Palantir. And, this is one of the ones where you could look back and be like, man, I can't believe we had 55. So let's give it a shot, right? I mean, there's another out for us right there. Moderna's still down $1. We don't have many shares here, so we're kind of like ho-humming this one a little bit. Obviously, a trade is a trade, and we never want to take them without too much seriousness, but we're out of now 70% of this trade, and we never had too many shares to begin with. We took out some nice moves there for 50 cents, then 80 cents, then lost $1.50 or so on, no, sorry, that's 55. Yeah, $2.50 or so on that, which sucked. And then we're holding a little bit piece now, but it's just not, it's really just a piece for the dream, and even that dream is becoming nightmarish. All right, so here comes Palantir. We're gonna be pennies away from getting stopped out, but you know what? Again, where's my stop out? Breaking through 84s. Okay, so we're very, very close to that happening right now. And we'll throw our hands up. We tried this one. We liked it. It didn't work today. Palantir. Okay, I'm going to take advantage of this little move up, get some out here because it just simply did not work down there. We'll take some more out. Okay, we got some more out there. So that was actually a little bit of a relief there to get some out on that bump back up. But it looks like we'll get stopped out here on PLTR. Sorry about that one.
In a couple,
did not work today.
At 10 o'clock, we're going to have some numbers come through. We have 5 or 6 minutes till that happens. I don't want to take any breakouts when we have a number coming up. But I just want to quickly go to DJT. It's going to be hard to see because of that candle. I'll get rid of it when I get a chance. So there is your bounce off of 30. There is your consolidation candle. So long in front of it at the quarter mark, out underneath this prior bar candle, which is 30.13. VWAP sits at 60. So I am taking most of it out in front of VWAP. I'll hang on to some for the highs above 31 even. So if we get a print above 31, I want to make sure we ring the register on the way to VWAP. Ideally, could have played it right off the 30 level. It's a little bit later of an entry, so tighter of a stop over there. Tesla's still holding, but holding is not enough. You got to do more than just hold, Tesla. You got to break. It's not like it's another lower high in here for Tesla. I'm going to tighten the stop out. I feel like if Tesla loses it here, you could be in a little bit of trouble. NVIDIA, while that was happening, it doesn't get into VWAP on NVIDIA, so I don't think we're going to get that shot at VWAP on NVIDIA. And Amazon, that's gone. Amazon was El Fuego, got through $210. So you can, if you were thinking about things like 205 and 06, which candidly I was at one point this morning, you can throw those all out the window, barring abject disaster. So I'm looking at this VWAP here and saying if we can join that trend, that's going to have to be it. So patience is going to have to play. DJT goes to VWAP and already starting to pull back. So that little retracement play for an SSR name gets to VWAP, and as usual, it finds a resistance spot. So now it can't turn into a loser, but if we lose that prior bar, we're jumping out. As simple as that. Jamie says, can we talk about coin? Of course, yes, we can. Of course we can. Coinbase back after Bitcoin's bounce.
Yes, we can.
It's back above VWAP, still down 3%. Keep in mind, Coinbase was up like 30 points yesterday. So like this is kind of a nothing burger kind of move. It's a very inside in the morning, and compared to yesterday, it hasn't really done a heck of a lot. So I think you got to be patient. The 250 looks like it could be tremendous, but it's got to get there. You're not having nearly as much of a move, but remember what it did early yesterday. Pop, drop, and then when it made the bounce and confirmed, it was just on fire the rest of the day. So you've got the pop, you've got the drop. Once it held VWAP before, it was gangbusters.
Pop, drop, and VWAP.
Shut them down, open up shop is usually next.
Pop,
I was looking at Mara for a red to green story, but it's not doing anything either. So Coinbase holding VWAP could be the one. I do like that look.
We had IBIT down there at 42. Bitcoin still suffering in around 75. Mara down 3 points. There's actually not that much, 3%. There's actually not that much happening right now, to be honest with you. So Palantir comes out, and I almost put an order in. So look, I mean, it was actually okay because we were up on it and we were like really happy. We were up 70 or 80 cents at one point. Obviously thought that the trade was going to continue, and we just stuck with our plan. I thought, we liked this name, thought it was going to be one to continue with. It was more maybe this last reload we could have got away from, maybe. But at the end of the day, it breaks that pre-market low, and that's fine. We want to get out of it. Just a little disappointed that we didn't reverse it, to be honest with you, into that short. So now I feel like I got to wait. Like these outs right there almost should have been reverses because we're starting to point down. So again, a little bit of bias there, but I'm completely fine with it. Just didn't trade it properly right there. So with NVIDIA, I don't think we really need to get out of this anymore, but I'm going to do one more out right now and then try to hold like about that 10%. So here we go. We're going to just offer it right now at 73s, get filled there, or 72s, and then now we'll wait to see where we go from here. But it's NVIDIA 146.50 right now, a buck and change, like really good trade to come through there. The Palantir one sucks. We're not going to go perfect. Not all ideas are going to work out, but this one definitely is. And we're liking this trade with NVDA. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye on RDDT here. Reddit here up about 4.5% with a 9.7% short float. No news on it, but decent volume here. Sit all morning with that 15-minute chart. Apparently, as of Tuesday, it's overtaken Snap's market value. So good look here for RDDT. Again, this is a pretty recent IPO with a $12.07 billion market cap for RDDT.
Reddit flying. Reddit. I mean, set it and forget it on Reddit. That's an absolute flyer. You're almost at 150 on ARM. Tesla just made another run. Sorry, Tesla is making another run at $290. So when it makes the break, I'm going to go into this breakout. We still like it. VWAP, I guess we'll go into VWAP again if it tips down into VWAP. But the Tesla finally making that run into the 290. It's now the third time it's gotten up here. So triple top, but higher lows. Sometimes that's how it is, like triple top. Okay, it's not really, it'll be a triple top if it gets there. It hasn't gotten there yet, but triple top if it gets there, looking for that breakout on Tesla still imminently. Wow, right, don't happen at the same time, but NVIDIA, which never got to VWAP and is completely allergic to it, has 500,000 shares on the offer at 148 and just broke the 148 level as well. So Tesla is imminent. NVIDIA already broke its even dollar level. It's just an absolute monster. Someone asked in the chat, at what point is NVIDIA a $4 trillion company? 10% from wherever it is now. It's about that. So that's my best answer. I can't do the math in my head, but it's about 10% from wherever we are right here. So yeah, it's probably going to get there. But Tesla's breaking 290 as well, so here we go.
Yeah, let's go. Right now, $1.50 in the money on this one. We are going to get ready for Tesla. I cannot believe that 287 level. It's too bad that we were looking at NVIDIA, at Palantir there, because those were great trades down there. I know you had some of that. That was great. Okay, so here we go. It's going to blast it, and we're going to get long, and then we're going to see where it goes. That's going to be Tesla. We do have our order in there, and there it goes. And we...
Whoa, miss.
Yeah, we missed. So there it goes. It just took down 290, like so super quick. That's why sometimes you got to get involved a little bit earlier on those moves. But I did not get any of that. So
I heard like 4 voices in the back all say missed. Like I missed. I heard a few people I know.
Dude, unless you crossed up 90
50
cents, you missed. No, more. I crossed up 40 at least. So, I mean, at least more than that, I would say there for Tesla. So, good job there for anybody that got it. Good job for anybody that was long right there. Getting long down there on Tesla, those are what you make your month on and your day on, right? That's what we're trying to do here with NVIDIA. It's the same kind of a play. We have NVIDIA. We don't have Tesla, is what it is. What's up, Adara? Wow.
We've got these numbers here. So we do have a wholesale inventories here month over month. This was the revised number for September. Revised to the downside, negative 0.2% versus negative 0.1% expected. And it was not expected to change. So we actually got an unexpected move to the downside for the revised wholesale inventories number. Wholesale sales month over month actually to the upside 0.3%. Versus here the forecast of 0.1% and a previous negative 0.1% print. So higher than expected wholesale month over month sales. Wholesale inventory is a little bit lower than expected. Q still up here about 1%. So nice strength here for the NASDAQ. S&P 500 pretty strong as well. Lots of strength in this market as we have day 2 of post-Trump victory of these Trump trades. DJT though, struggling a little bit with that gap to the downside. TSLA, as we know here, pushing above 290s and still looking really strong on this day. And it's bound to be an exciting day as well with the FOMC coming through at 2 p.m. Expect comments from Fed Chair Powell on 2:30. We are expecting a 25 basis point cut. Lots of earnings on watch here, including LYFT, which is just coming down here from day's highs, up about 28% with a EPS and sales beat and strong gross booking guidance. Now, we also have ELF here up about 13%, definitely bouncing here with this double bottom off of its lows of day. And we did have an EPS sales beat and increased guidance for fiscal 2025. Lots of earnings name on watch here. QCOM, ARM, BROS, APP. Some other earnings plays to keep an eye on, guys.
And Tesla's gone, and NVIDIA's gone. We reloaded. Okay, so we are reloaded. We just saw Moderna here, and I sort of zoomed in. You know, it was holding this 53 level. So I was going to give it to 52 and change to the bottom. So I was just like, you know what? We like the stock, we like the market, we like everything that's been happening right now. So let's try a little bit of a long now on mRNA. So that's trying to work. I have offers through the upside. We're basically flat on the stock now if we can get these fills, but we have to get the fills. All right, NVIDIA continues to work higher. And I mean, Tesla is the monster. We have that written down as the #1 trade idea today, the 290 long break. I wish, like I said, I wish I was on it and been able to see those 287 levels. Those were absolutely monsters. That's the trade for me. Take those and hold those. Just like we're doing on NVIDIA, I think you only get so many chances to make those plays. Wow. 293 right now.
I think we get to 300. It's just a matter of where to get back in. It's that simple.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is that simple. I mean, every single dollar break has been huge. So it's going to be 293 and then 294 and then 295. And unless you take it, you're not getting in. So pull back maybe to 290 would be the only spot, but
I think it can. Once it does any kind of a dip, there's going to be a lot of people trying to chase back into it for sure. Now you're getting the 93. I just want to quickly update DJT. We had it into VWAP. It went underneath the prior bar high, so that was an easy out. We just got in a bit late to VWAP, so we had to have a tight stop. I wasn't in at the bottom, so I'm not going to hold it back into the bottom. I mean, come on. DJT breaking the lows, down 17%. Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial, using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
So while this was going on, I didn't realize Micron did not break. or it tried to break. Actually, no, it tried to break pre-market highs and did not go. So this one's still valid. Now, we'll get to Tesla in a second because Tesla's absolute rocket ship. This is still valid, trying to break out that top. Of course, if it breaks a low, you can throw it out the window if this breaks the low. So Micron's still valid if it takes that high. As far as Tesla goes, there's no point leaving in the 290. Now that you're through 293, 95 break is obviously going to be there, but this trend is starting to get a little bit parabolic. I went over and quickly was like, is Rivian back through $10? Can it get dragged up by it? And the answer is it has been, but it's already pulled back. So Rivian, nothing more. I was kind of hoping that it'd be squeezing and we could join something along those lines. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. Like Tesla, like we said, it's off to the races.
Upselling.
We just got to find something in here to buy the dip. There hasn't been a red candle. The last time we got a red candle on Tesla, that was your entry point. A red on the 3-minute, and that was where you found the dip. That's pretty much what I'm looking for here. I just try to keep it as simple as possible. An uptrend like this, if it wants to go Coinbase ham from yesterday,
Coinbase ham.
You try to buy on the first available dip. It just hasn't given one yet.
All right, so we're not trying to go Coinbase ham on anything right now, but we do have more Palantirs. Palantir just fell in to 54. So I'm like, okay.
54?
Yeah, so we'll give it a little bit of love here. We haven't seen this 50 period, obviously, for a minute, but that doesn't make any sense because, we had such a dramatic move. So you're not going to see that. This is a 20-minute chart. So we're long right now at 96s. We have, this will be our biggest position, but we're only giving it 20 cents. So at the end of the day, it's not going to be like a big, huge hit to the net or anything like that. But I think it's worth a spot now to see if it wants to get going. And it keeps on bouncing off 54. So I'm seeing this and I'm not really liking what I'm seeing. So if we can get something out a little bit north of this, or even, I don't want to get it out for flat, but you see, it just can't break. It's not breaking above this 54. There we go. We get some 01s or something there. But other than that, not much happening here for Palantir. So I'll wait. I do have a bigger order now at 15s, 54 15s, if it comes back up there. So we'll wait to see if we get that. But Palantir right now, if we drip below this the 50 period, it's about 80s. So if we break through 80s, then we're out of PLTR. Just a quick little update. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is pretty much what SMCI did yesterday, where it tried to break, trend off of VWAP, and then very clean, steep trend off of VWAP, close above trend line, and then go for VWAP there. And that'll give you probably something in the 30 range into about 55 to 55 quarter. So I'm going to have eyeballs on that. I'm going to throw that one up. Unless SoFi gets back above 12, I'm throwing that level 2 up. I know we're going to have Tesla. Wow. Okay, Tesla. We'll get to Tesla in a second. That just absolutely did not dip one more time there on Tesla. So once we get that trend line break, closing bar above, I'm going to look to get in. That was the red candle on Tesla. That was pretty much it. 292.5, and it's already breaking back above the highs. You just take a shot at the even and give it that prior bar low just to get into it. To be honest with you guys, it's breaking out a new fresh high, and the only way to get in is to either just be sitting on the bid at a price I don't want, take a local break, and give it to the prior bar. So just give it a tight stop, and if that's going to be the way in, fair enough. If it does a deeper dip into 290, we can always just take that later. We're going to take a first salvo at some of these insane highs on Tesla, which is...
The problem is always trying to figure out how many shares, right? Because it's like, you don't know if that's going to be the end of the dip or if you're going to get another opportunity
to get a better
price.
I'm taking 1/8 of what I had on the breakout. Breakout trade was to me, the breakout trade was the trade.
Yes.
And once you miss that
is.
I'm not it's very difficult for me to like anything more than what I like the breakout trade for. I can't.
Yeah, the breakout trade was
the breakout trade was the trade, and if it's not that, then I can't like it more. Unless maybe I could make an argument for VWAP in 289 if we get down there. But at that point, what does that even look like? So Palantir is actually making that potential break.
Yes, sir.
So we took the break on Tesla. If we lose a prior bar, we're out. So I want to get over to Palantir now that we've covered that. It's almost there. Once it closes above that bar, going to look to go long with the stop underneath trend. Usually that bar, so probably 53.90 if it stands as is. Market's still flying. There hasn't been a red candle on the 15-minute on the NASDAQ.
Go market.
Amazon's still flying as well, so there it is.
Go. Go Palantir.
Right, now we're in.
Let's get going, Palantir. Come on, man. You face slapped this one. Let's get back up to the upside near 4 PLTR. We just took some, Neil's in, so I don't know if that was just a jinx there because it stopped. But let's go, Palantir. You just did. We got some 25s before you got in, or hopefully that you didn't get 25s. But right now, it is a nice play there back up to the upside for us on Palantir. We cashed some out, man. We told you we were getting some out at 15s, and then we were lucky enough to get it right there as well. So let's go. Palantir, man, upside. We like that stock, obviously, as we continue to talk about it every single day. And we did take a hit on it, so it's not like it's all skies blue there for me. But you know what's happening right here, too, is NVIDIA, the absolute trade of the day right now, as it should be, I feel like. It will hold forward. It will be the top P&L name. It'll be a big one for me, obviously, as we continue to watch out and see where it goes. I mean, they're 148.50. We just got, well, we didn't get 50s. We got 44s. Nice move there to the upside. Palantir's the one that's sort of struggling right now to get going. We've reloaded it back up, but good outs there, making back not all of the money that we lost, obviously, but a decent spot there as we got out. And now there's the flush there for PLTR. So yeah, about that. We'll see what happens for this name breaking back down again. So couple of Palantir traders over here. What's up over there, Adara?
Strongest larger cap name here with earnings has to be APP, which is certainly strong here. AAPL up about 51%, continuing to make new day's highs off earnings. Just an update there with an 11% short float. SMCI actually looking not bad here as well, up about 4.5%. This one looks like it's rebounding after that disappointing preliminary earnings report and the news that they still do not know when that 10K is going to be filed. They actually risk NASDAQ delisting, but right now looks like traders not caring too much as SMCI makes new day's highs.
What?
Yeah. I mean,
Logic.
I like that long, man. But
Logic be darned. Sell off Palantir. And
Palantir.
So, like, very simple setup. It's the same as SMCI yesterday. Oddly enough, SMCI, the stock that you would think shouldn't bounce, is the one that did. This one did not. So we take our shot at it on Palantir. This is always going to be the entry, and that's always going to be the exit on that type of a setup. So it doesn't work here. We'll slap the L on it for me. I don't think it's necessarily done, because if it does close back above, I don't mind taking another shot at it if we actually get this close above. But that initial entry, it didn't happen, so it has to give me a close above to try to jump back into it. Wow, Amazon is still absolutely flying.
all right, yeah, sorry about the Palantir, but we held it a little bit longer, but like Neil said, man, this is what we do here. We put on our outs and our ins, and you got to have it, because if you don't, you wind up paying the piper. So some trades will work out, some trades won't. And we had waited for Palantir to come back in here, so we did reload it, take some more profits on that name. It still could drop out, obviously, there. All right, Moderna, we did have a winner there. We actually had a decent one. We almost had it. We had more than $1. No, we had 70 cents, sorry, on that play. We were trying to wait for this 50 period. Moderna doesn't look like it wants to hold, but it's been down here and been holding. So who am I to know what this wants to do? But we're going to wait to see if it continues its downside push there. But we are getting out, just in case you were wondering, 52 break. So that's right there. I mean, that's kind of where we got stopped out that last time. This was a mistake. We had meant to get stopped out in here. Then we saw a little bit of a build. I think we can buy we don't have very many shares because of how violent this name is, especially on earnings. So I'll buy a little bit more here at 52.50 and then wait to see if we can't get it out a little bit higher than that. So that's what we're doing right now on Moderna. I'm going to cancel a couple of these offers. I don't think we're going to get too many of these shares upside, but we'll wait to see if that comes into play again. So right now, Palantir, it's still trying to cook, man. Nice move upside. I want to wait for it to get going. If it doesn't, we're getting stopped out. Our stop out was always a break of 80. That hasn't happened yet, so we'll wait for that to come in. And if it does, fine. It'll be a 10-cent hit on that last piece. We've just taken more than that back to the upside. So yeah, Palantir pretty weak. If the market continues to fall down, Palantir is Deadsville anyways. So we'll wait on that one. Tesla, I mean, we can watch out for the money market, see what they're doing. Remember, there's one thing that's happening today that we haven't even mentioned once, and that's Fed.
What is that?
So, it's now been trading for a while. I've said that I didn't care about it. And, as you can see, I'm not changing the way I'm trading at all yet. So
Not until like you get to 130. Like that's usually That's the time of day. Like once we get past lunchtime, you get into 1 o'clock right before
Palantir broke.
that afternoon when people are away from lunch, come back from lunch and set things up. That's when I want to be flat. I try to be out of positions unless you're holding something deep in the money. If it's deep in the money, it's like, who cares? But I don't want a new position where 2 o'clock is going to affect it and then your technicals are thrown out the window. So Micron, I mean, it took a while, but it just broke the pre-market highs. So it put in a higher low, broke the pre-market highs, giving it to prior bar. This is a bit of it's a continuation from yesterday, but then, like, what isn't a continuation play from yesterday on a long side? Like, what are we talking about here? Pretty much everything. So we're into Micron. I got to go over to Tesla. I don't know if we're going to get the dip into 290. We took the break, gave it to prior bar. We're out. So I don't know, like I said, the triple top and then the breakout feels like it's the level everybody is waiting for if it wants to dip there. I'm not convinced that it's going to give us that price if there is a pullback any further. But it's an absolute rocket ship. And there's so many people in the chat that have said, Neil, look at Bros. Neil, look at Intel, or both of us look at these stocks. Intel's up 3.5%. That said, I was setting up on that Micron breakout. So that's the one that we're in. Obviously, Intel on the daily is making a big break through $25. This has a decent chance to fill a good portion of that gap. I don't know about today because that would be asking a heck of a lot of Intel to be able to get through the entirety of the gap. I'm not sure you're going to get that just today, but good look for Intel. It's a good one. Dutch Brothers, another good one as well. But wild price action here. The NASDAQ up 1%. You can't deny it. I promised I would also look at Dutch Bros. It's at $50. This is absolutely flying. Another earnings continuation name, now 43%. It's a pure squeeze. If Lyft doesn't give it, I'm actually looking at this for a bit of a reversion. If it holds through the $50 level, it's now got a very, very steep channel to the upside. It was Lyft that I had the plan for at 20, and Lyft doesn't seem to want to get there. So I'm now eyeballing that Dutch Brothers. It's got to hold through $50 and set another trade to the upside. Of course, Tesla just shook us out.
Yeah, Tesla. Oh, did it?
What a beast.
There you go, right? Like, there you go. Like, the
beast.
biggest stock on the board here. And you got to, like, patience works, patience doesn't work. It's such a crazy game, this one that we're playing. All right. I still think Palantir can go. So I just wanted to say, and I just wasn't able to say it before it happened, but I just bought 54s there on the break back through. So it's similar to the trade that Neil put on there, waiting for something to happen and then taking it. So that's what I'm doing right now, just trying to see if something's going to happen here. I don't have, obviously, as much confidence, but I really like the level. Like, I like this 53. I mean, I feel that this is something there. And, to lose and to give back what you make when it's good sucks for sure, right? But we haven't necessarily done that yet. And I don't want to be stubborn about anything, but right now, I don't know if we want to give it up, but I don't know how far to hold it back down in. That bottom today is 53.70. See? So there it goes. It breaks it again, and then looks like the short's going to win. Like, the futures on this pullback, yeah. So here we go. So it doesn't look like it wants to work out. So that's okay. We'll try one more rate here to try this, and then breaking basically 53. The low of the day is 60, 70, 69 maybe, or so, and get out of here. But so right now it doesn't look like Palantir wants to do it. We tried it one more time. I did think that there was something brewing here that we could get back into the long side, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So we're long Palantir. I'm talking all like dead man walking. We're long at 91.5 here, but at the same time, it hasn't been trading that well. I'm going to take something out at like high 80s if we can. We're only going to give this one breakthrough 70. That's the low of the day. Look, here's the pressure, and we're going to get out of here. So giving some back there, definitely on this Palantir, being pretty stubborn with it. I just thought there was a chance to go off of this level. It appears that we're wrong. So for right now, Palantir, wrong on that one. As it's flat for us now, we will take a piece out. We just said that. So let's just now wait to see where we go. Back to a little bit of flat area here on Palantir, but making me nervous. There we go. Take some more out at 97. Palantir, we're in it, but not with ultimate confidence.
Yeah, that's about how I feel about the ARM reversion. But you have a trade set up. Your idea is you're supposed to do it. And Palantir didn't work. And ARM just set up one of the bigger ones that you'll see because it's such a ridiculous mover. And it's pretty much clean in terms of this play. You got one red candle pullback. So from first pullback, holds the same trend line, steep trend line on ARM. sets up and then closes, and now we get a test underneath, so I'm in. Ideally, there'd be a consolidation where I'd like it a little bit better if it consolidates under that trend line and you could have more. Give it to the prior bar high. I'm already bid 152 and then 151 half because I think 150 is going to be a brick wall. Oh, why is 150 a brick wall on ARM? Let's just go back and show you. So 150 bucks was a big resistance. It was a monster floor going back into middle of this year. So I want to respect the $150 level as we're in here essentially at 153. So if we get down to 150, I'll be happy. My stop is just above the 154 level. What else do I want to get to? Oh yeah, Tesla. What was I going to talk about? Tesla, Neil. 295. I don't have anything else other than to say that it's at $295 and about to break. That's pretty much it. So Tesla, it just continues to absolutely ramp. I think obviously here, why take a break? You should be taking the wick and then the re-entry, right? Like that's a more patient entry. That's an impatient entry. That's a patient entry. I got to have a patient entry the next time through on Tesla. That's a way to get in. You just have to you can't have FOMO in this game. Don't get FOMO entries, which I know that's what I had in there, where I can admit it. That's a non-FOMO entry. The next one, if I take another FOMO entry, I'll slap another fail on it. Uber and Lyft are still flying, but ARM is the reversion trade, so I'm not even looking at Lyft at this point because ARM set up one that was even more steep, and that just means that we jumped into it. It's still holding the bid at 152. Is someone stacking it up there in front of 152? Just took the quarters out. Oh. I have a 150 as well. And we'll see if it starts heading down. After that, the next bid's going to be under 151 here on ARM. 5% up. We said it in the aftermarket show that we're looking for a bounce play, but it was a dip buy opportunity this morning I was looking for, not an absolute pump job. What a stock this is. Let's go to ADRs for the small cap recap.
We've got the NASDAQ up about 1%, S&P 500 up about 0.5%, and then the IWM, which is down about 0.3% here, running into some clear resistance still around 239. This was during the pre-market, but this is also that same area of resistance we found yesterday in the pre. Right now, trading around 236.30. So let's see if this is a level we can hold on to. Potential support below could be at this 234.50 area that we used as support on the way back up yesterday. Lots of small cap runners, including two penny stocks up more than 200%. First one here is NMHI. This is Nature's Miracle Holding. They work here in the natural space. They also really work here in EVs. They're launching an EV business, specifically focusing here on electrical, agriculture, and commercial vehicles. We've got about a $7 million market cap. Next up, we have WBUY. WeBuy is the name of the company. They are a Singapore-based company, so this is going to be an ADR. Penny stock trading around 48 cents right now, up 300%. No news, but 67% insider-owned and $22 million market cap. Last but not least here, EBS, Emergent Biosolutions. This name might sound familiar because they run pretty frequently, mostly on Mpox-related catalysts. They do have a catalyst here with Mpox today, saying they had some positive results here for their Mpox treatment study in Africa. They're also looking to do another study in Africa, sponsored by the CDC. But they also had earnings yesterday. They missed on sales, but beat on earnings per share and got a price target increase here from Benchmark with a buy rating. And we are brought to you here by our friends at Trade the Pool. Trade the Pool allows traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. That's a real edge in trading. Here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program for stock traders. For a one-time fee of just $97, you'll receive $20,000 in buying power. All you need to do is reach the profit goal. The best part? This limited edition program now has a reduced profit goal and fewer minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. Plus, the profit split is upgraded. Keep 70% of the profits. Don't miss the chance to explore this limited time offer.
Do not miss your chance and grab that Trade the Pool.
Limited time offer.
ASAP. Yeah, limited time offer. Yeah,
shout out to Mitch. Shout out to Trade the Pool.
Very, very limited there. All right. So, look, we kind of did it here on Palantir. We didn't do that much. We just kind of got back a little bit of what we've lost recently on this name. It still does not make me feel very good here with this name, but we're gonna wait to see now where we go with it. So Palantir, we just got a bunch out there, man. Like almost all right here at 5405s, 54s. So we did really good on the reload, I feel like here for this. But again, remember where it drips down in. We're out of 2/3 of this trade already. Very, very good possibility that this continues to fall down. It's not trading that well. If the futures ever break the 50-period moving average, this position, my friends, is in big time trouble. So we're going to be very, very patient with it and hopefully catch something here. But for right now, it is not spitting very well for us, Palantir today. So that's that. But what has been really good, and Moderna came out, by the way. Just sort of noticing that right now. So, okay, my bad. Moderna does come out. So we do get that Moderna out there, breaking right there, 52. So that's going to be a fail all the way through. We had it early there, and then we just tried it, but it's relatively small. It hit is a hit, but it's a relatively small one here for Moderna. It just didn't really work out for us. We didn't level into it or anything like that. So that's Moderna just trying to give me some ways there and making me feel some ways as we drip back down below $52. Okay, now, all right. I mean, honestly, I don't really know what to do here with PLTR. Do we like the stock? Yes. Do I want to hold it? Yes. But is it still giving me some of these ways? Also, yes. Like, it's not trading well enough today for me to sit here and really like this name. So there it is, another piece out there at O's. Hopefully we continue to make moves higher. But at the end of the day, I'm waiting at 16s to get out of 20% of this trade. If it gets all the way up there, that's sort of where we've stopped at, then that's great. We'll get out of 20%, then hold the rest for the ride. NVIDIA, we talked about that, then left it. We got some out right there, basically at the highs. We kept on bouncing off 45, so let's make sure that we do get a piece out there on this name. So far, so good as we look there. All right.
Quick update.
Yeah, go.
So 151 just held on ARM, and because this stock is screaming to the upside, I just got to respect it. You have to respect what's going on there. Tesla also just broke. Let me just finish that. Man. I'll finish that thought in a second, but Tesla, it's another breakout on Tesla, and it's boom. Like the stock just continues to go. So it just broke 295. I think it might have given a patient dip, but that was not the same as the last dip where it gave you time to work into it. It essentially just ramped to the upside and broke the 295. It's going to 300 today, Randy. So obviously anybody in is loving it, and it's clearly worth several briskets if you're into that sort of a thing, which I just checked, and we're 6 away. We're 6 super chats away from brisket today. And oddly enough, Tesla is not $6 away from 300. It is $4.50 away from 300. It is ridiculous. It is spectacular. It is Tesla. And Elon Musk is absolutely laughing all the way to the bank.
All right.
He's worth straight cash, homie.
I know you've got that Tesla on. Great trade there. But let's go for Palantir. Wow. Big move back to the upside again. You know, we sit in these trades, we talk about them, we like them, we talk about why we like them, and when it works out, we like them even more. So Palantir right there, nice move back up. We're starting to take a little bit more out here. Again, I was like, can we get 16s? I mean, so we'll take some out on the upside. Our best outs now, 24s, and then we just took a 22 right there as well as Palantir continues to, really impress me on that back end trade. I mean, obviously on the front side there, we have Obi coming up with Joe. So it's going to be a monster show coming up for you on the midday. The monsters of the midday is what I'm calling these two right there. So get ready for that one. On options, obviously talking. No idea what the topic is, but that doesn't even matter. You're going to get entertained there.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter. Intraday option moves. Is that what you said? Intro to options, part 1. So if you've missed the other parts, it's okay. There has been none.
You know the obligation, if you do a part 1, that means you can only have 2.
This guy's smart.
Everything is minimum trio. That's how it works in the world. Yeah. So it's a minimum of 3. You always have a trilogy. There's no because if you only have a sequel, you're lame. It's one or 3.
This guy's smart. He's like guaranteeing his job now because now everyone's going to make, you know what I'm saying? So now you have to do number 2 and 3.
Joe knows what's up.
Very, very smart Joseph coming through there. I don't know if he's smart enough to have Palantir long, but right now we have Palantir long, and it's been a good trade there for us. Again, as we just teased, not everybody has to have Palantir long, but you should have Palantir or NVIDIA right now, or Tesla. Right now, we'll talk about that stock when we get back from the desk.
Intuitive Machines really strong today here. LUNR getting increasing volume here in this 15-minute chart as we go, making new day's highs as we speak, up about 11% with a 33.3% short float. So that is not a short float to scoff at. Market cap of just over $1 billion. And they report earnings in a week from today. So Thursday before the open for LUNR, guys.
Oh,
52.
Good look on Lunar. Tesla's gone. It's through 296 and still cruising ahead to 296.5. I'm looking at 97, 97.5. But DJT is now there. I like the term the Alamo, but I feel like when I use it, it's like, oh, the stock, if it goes down there, it's dead, or it breaks it, it's dead. It's overstating it. But if you look at it, $280 for $28 on DJT has kind of been the spot. And now that you've ticked down, there is the trend. There was an early one that reverted. I missed the entry here. Like, that entry should have been down here at $30. Instead, I got 30.25. So now if it breaks the trend, I'm just going to go for the reversion shot long on DJT. It's an SSR name, that's obviously different. That's a distinction. Like, SMCI was an SSR name when it did the reversion yesterday. So maybe I should have respected that a little bit more. So now I have DJT up. We got the trend on, and if it breaks, I'm going to go for that shot. It's a pretty much cut and dry black and white style of trade. Tesla just broke 97s and now headed for
97.
Moon?
Yeah, it's already mooning, baby.
It's already mooning. It's ridiculous. It's only 3% compared to 15 yesterday, but a lot of that was the gap up, right? That's why we showed that blue ocean number. It was a lot of that aftermarket action. Well, there was just in the chat there, I saw Charlie Taff in the chat. What up? Thank you for the super chat. Long this. That DXYZ is crazy. 55%. Everything Elon is working.
Little crazy.
And so that means SpaceX is crazy. And DXYZ, I'm not sure another way that you can play it in the market, SpaceX that is, other than that DXYZ.
Yeah, I don't know.
Valuation, questionable. I'd look into that yourself as to how much they hold and where the implied valuation is in the last time they did a private raise. That's some work that you want to do if you're doing anything more than trading that thing. I don't know myself. Let's go over to Adara to see how Bitcoin is doing. Probably okay.
Probably right.
Bitcoin and a lot of these crypto plays certainly benefited yesterday, and maybe none of them benefited as much as Coinbase, COIN, which had maybe one red candle all day yesterday on the 15-minute chart, closed up a cool 31%. Its CEO, Brian Armstrong, grew his position by roughly $2 billion yesterday. So as of its last proxy filing, he had a stake of 34.8 million shares. That would bring his total holdings there to almost $9 billion as of yesterday. So great look here for Brian Armstrong and Coinbase. This was down as much as 4% pre-market. Now we're down only 0.5%. So COIN, nice recovery, almost at yesterday's highs, near 260. Now, what about Bitcoin? Today, Bitcoin really, when you look at this chart, since that double bottom at 54,000 on September 7th, we have this beautiful uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, still continuing. Today, though, a bit of a doji candle, just below 76,000, but still nothing to scoff at considering that massive move up we had yesterday from below 70,000 all the way to new all-time highs. So BTC still looking strong, even though today might be a momentary setback depending on what chart you look at. Currently around that 73.5 area. Ethereum, though, this is really notable. We were trading around 26 yesterday. Now we're at 2,800, up about 6.5%. So today might be Ethereum's time to shine. We have Solana, BNB, XRP all up about 2%. Cardano, great look today, up about 7%. Toncoin up about 5%. Tron lagging a little bit, as is Doge, but generally lots of strength here in this crypto space. And even the names that are down aren't down by much.
Down enough. Yeah, no, I mean, crypto is, I was just thinking like, wow, where is this going to stop? I mean, that Ethereum run is nice. Nice.
I got several, and this happens, but obviously we're involved in the markets if you can't tell. But so you get a lot of friends that are, friends, past colleagues, all that kind of stuff. Will always ask opinions, family. And the number of messages yesterday, Tesla, ? what's going on with crypto? Like, what should I do with? Should I be buying this? Blah, blah, blah. It was ridiculous how much that was the case. DJT still hasn't made the break. Oh, no. DJT still hasn't made that breakout. Okay, I got to do this because Tesla with its first pullback in the most recent of its ridiculous trends.
There was a reversion.
I just heard Obi say reversion. I mean, maybe. Like if I was
asking for a friend.
No, if you were gonna put a reversion on it, it would look something like this. Since prior breakout, like since the break of the 290 high, right? Since that break, you have this lower high. So it would have to be underneath 295.50. Now I already took some out on this level. It would have to close under 295.50, which is conveniently enough break even. So as long as this holds above break even, I'm sticking with it and trying to hang on till 300 and then look for some kind of another entry on.
I don't mind that.
On Tesla. So that's my look. Like it can still hold on to that trend and be good. And then I'm looking for a reversion here on DJT. If we can get that, that could be fine. Glenn Smith, you're right. You can also look at a 20 EMA bounce. And again, Tesla is an absolute rocket ship to the upside. I just feel like the next trade for me is going to be the reversion on DJT. And it's the kind of thing, DJT moves fast enough that when it happens, like I got to be ready to hit it, as it's riding this trend line very tightly. So the second you get a breakout above it and hold, I want to go into that long. Another super chat. Now two away. Thank you, Nichols. I've been watching you guys for about 2 years now, giving great analysis and inspiration. Tesla is being good to me. Baseball very good to me, like Sammy Sosa said. Tesla is very good to everybody that's on the long side. Just started trading this month and already up $3,000.
Kablam!
Let me hit the like on that one. Everyone shout out and give a big congratulations to Nichols. That's what we love to see in there. Great job for you. I remember when we were celebrating.
Nice.
We were celebrating on the aftermarket show ADRs' first positive month last month, and that was all the support that everybody. She didn't say a word. And then we're doing the afternoon show, and then very casually, Adara just brings up, oh, I just had my first positive month. And I was like, and you didn't tell us live during the show?
I mean, that's better than many. We'll leave it at that, right? I mean, it's been tough, right? I mean, it's been very, very tough. So congratulations to Adara. I meant to say yesterday that she had done really well there yesterday, joining the club on the green side. So congratulations there. It wasn't as green of a day yesterday as many people might have thought. Okay, so here goes Palantir, guys. We reloaded that one back down there as well. Nice trade here, hopefully for Palantir. But look, man, it's going back and forth and around again. I don't know if it's going to go. We did get some out there when it broke back down. We bought a little bit more. It's just one of them days here for Palantir. Let's just see. Don't take it personal, but we're going to see where we go with PLTR, Mr. Karp here. It's his world and we're all living in it, but right now the Bears have been winning today for Palantir, down 3% as we try to pick up where we left off on this monster, PLTR. And video, we still have a little bit of time left, right? It's only 10:36. Thank you so much to everybody for joining us. I mean, 75.3 right now for crypto. Bitcoin continuously moving as well. We actually talked about some of the profits that we had seen over the last little while. There it is. Thank you so much, Adrian, right there, helping us get to that level as well. Yesterday, a lot of trading on Blue Ocean, which is the overnight markets, as we continue to see some success over there, and a lot of it to deal with DJT overnight and what that Trump trade meant. So Blue Ocean, another one, and yesterday we brought on board the Saudi Arabian market as well. So we're really excited to have that on board here. And here goes Palantir. It's just a ho-hum. 40 cents now in the money, but it's got to still go. We'd like to see it get up there a little bit more as well. NVIDIA's still trying to go as well. So it's those two trades. And then damn you, Moderna, damn you. We got out again on that one and we lost on mRNA. So with only 20 minutes to go, right now, we're in Palantir and we're in NVIDIA. And I just think Palantir did the 50 period, 54.20, my next out over there. Was that to go somewhere?
No, just give me a couple of minutes.
Oh, give me a couple of minutes. Okay, yeah, no problem. All right. Go nuts. Neil is dealing with chart issues as we continuously have them, and it's just new versions, new this, as we'll work out on some bugs. Okay, so with that being said, let's just continue the fun side of trading here for everybody. All right, so what do you want me to look at? SPY? Okay, DJT. Duh, that's when we did. And that's it. The goals are now completed. That's what we're talking about. So although I still plan on going to the gym and doing a couple laps, on my way back, we'll call Randy, we'll call Neil, we'll get it all figured out. We'll see if Miss Ramin wants to get some brisket. We'll figure out what... I guess we don't have to see if she wants any after that. But I want to thank Adrian for definitely throwing it out there. You guys are just amazing. This dude, I guess, made 6.3 because of us last month.
Damn.
I mean, amazing. 6.3 grand right there. That's $10 US. Thank you so much for that. Roel here as well. There's the $10 as well. Thank you so much. We like that. Thank you, Yoel. Nicola over here. Nichols right there. Thank you so much. Sorry about your name there for that $10. I don't want to super chat there. Great job. Oh, that's you already talked about that, guy. So, all right. Thank you so much for all the super chats. And it is now met, Neil. So now we can give a shout out to Randall the Handle and get him all excited once again about brisket, because brisket's a jam. So we'll wait to get involved with that. Palantir, not my friend. NVIDIA, mucho friendly. And then Tesla, another name that, of course, Neil's been in and out of and in again. Tesla right now, 298 and change over there. Having a lot of fun. Getting ready for the midday. Joe.
Yes.
And Obi there. Tesla, looks like it just faded off 298. So thank you again to everybody that supported the Super Chats. That was a lot of fun. I think we're going to keep on doing that, right, guys? As much as we can, we're going to keep on supporting the Super Chats. And I want to thank everybody for all of that. Great job to everybody. Without any further ado, it's Miss Adair's world, and we're living in that. Another Super Chat. 100K.
Lots of strength here in this sector board once again. Because we have the Qs outperforming the S&P 500 by quite a significant margin, you're going to see that reflected here. META making a nice recovery after yesterday's Trump weakness, because we know Trump is a bit of a fan of the TikTok. So META sold off yesterday, or was a bit weaker yesterday. Today, though, strongly to the upside. Microsoft and Google following suit. So good luck here for the technology services sector, though ADBE a little bit weaker here. Lots of strength here coming through in electronic technology. Retail trade led by Amazon, mostly to the upside. We also have a good look here for consumer durables, led, of course, by Tesla in a day two move. Health services looking great. Process industries as well. Now, in terms of some weakness, we have to talk about the financial sector. This, like a lot of the plays today, is going to be a day two or reaction move. We had banks really strong yesterday after Trump's victory. Now, JPM down about 3%, leading this group to the downside. So BRKB and WFC, all names we know made big moves yesterday, now selling off a little bit. Also some weakness here in communications. Health technology a bit weaker too, though LLY, which sold off yesterday in sympathy with Novo Nordisk with its earnings, is actually to the upside, guys.
Nordisk, I like that word. Remix.
Long this. Long what is what I want to know. Pretty much probably everything. Probably a little NVIDIA, probably a little bit of Tesla. Whatever it is, 100K day. Shout out to you, long this. So you guys can try some sausage too. Like, why not? Yeah, well,
sausage?
Well, I mean, with the brisket. Because sometimes you get a platter, right? Like, I don't think we'll be doing one of those troughs like like they do in the South.
I already know what it comes in. It's like a bag of brisket. It has onions in it. It's a bag of good ass brisket.
I mean, you get the trough that has you get the sausage, you get the brisket, you get the ribs, you get a little bit of everything. That's where it's at. But then for that, you got to set aside like half of a day so that you can just sit down there. And there was I keep forgetting the name of the place in Deep Ellum down in Dallas. Every single time I do this and I forget, it's the best. It was the best brisket I've ever had in my entire life, and yet I can't remember the name of it because I only went there once. Just quick note, DJT did do the mean revert. DJT got to the point of the mean reversion. And I entered here. I got 81 half, so that's why it'll say 82, but I'm in at 81 half. That's why you see a couple of entries in there. But immediately gets to 29, and there was a big seller. Now there's another one at 29 quarters. Let's just say it's heavy on DJT. Like each time it does the bounce, it's looking like it wants to go ham, but it's not. And I'll juxtapose that with SMCI, this exact same setup on SMCI yesterday. Okay, SMCI is flying. Wow. Mm-hmm. SMCI, when it now doesn't want to load. Okay, well, it was right at SMCI when it bounced, and you're not going to be able to see, but this bounce here or the one that was earlier, it would hit it, and then immediately it would bounce. Like the first candles were just wild, and it was like a huge swath of buying. That's what you want in an SSR bounce play, because the idea is that people are chasing it when it's short sell restricted and they can't hit the bid. They're chasing it down, 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 and when it's released, it's supposed to release heavy to the upside. So once again, I have prior bar, and now if it loses the break-even bar because we've broken 29, I'm going to jump out on DJT. It's just not moving that big on these reversions here for DJT. Not bad, but not necessarily good enough. Tesla it's been chilling at the 298 for a while, but you're now starting to see some lower highs in here on Tesla. The entry, like if you look at the difference between the dips and the green bars following it, it's a little bit distinctly different here on Tesla. I don't want us losing the shelf here at the 96. I did have a break-even stop, but if we can't run the high the next time, then I got to jump out of this one. And I just saw Lemon Musk. Lemon Musk, I like that. Lemon Musk just mentioned Meta and said 601 question mark. I haven't looked at Meta today because
Is that high, eh?
590, 588.
I wanted to buy some. Meta.
Yeah, Meta is, look, they're all rocket ships. They're all rocket ships. But like it's just, whether you're talking about Meta
Palantir.
or Amazon or Tesla today, NVIDIA, there's so many rocket ships out there. Like I'm looking at this on the daily chart. Like I had this trend drawn on Meta. I could have been in Meta today. Like look at this setup. Channel down. I mean, the last time it broke this channel, you got $25. So this time it's a rejection underneath. Consolidation, there's your entry on the breakout. That'll be a 570, what was that, 570? Look at the break. Wow, like that was a great looking setup, but you know, it's lines in the chart till you take the trade. And Meta wasn't even on the radar today. So like, let's be real. If it had been on the radar, maybe I would have noticed that, but I didn't even give a second thought to Meta today. DJT, as I said, not as strong as what we saw before. So it gives you a push. We're able to cover in that push, and there's no secondary push, and then we're just out underneath break even. So like it's giving you something, it's not giving you the big move to the upside on DJT. Don't know what to tell you. It doesn't seem to have it in it today on these bounces.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it, but I mean, I always wonder about that. Like, you know, where does the stock even want to go? Like, what is the reason to buy it right now, other than just trying to trade it for a trade? And I think if you're going to do that, then yeah, key levels are going to be what you're going to look for there on DJT, of course. All right, so no. We don't do anything like that. Palantir, nice. Okay, here goes Palantir. I mean, if you're not liking and subscribing for these Palantir wins, then yeah, you're probably on the wrong side of things. Let's go to Palantir. Look at this move back up to the upside, 167, 175 in the money right now on NVIDIA, 65 cents in the money right now on Palantir. Let's take another piece out here as we continue to climb. Look, I said, I think Palantir can go. I think it can. And eventually it did. So nice little move there for Palantir all the way back up there now to the north side of $54. Well, I think we can hold on to this one as the futures, Neil.
High of the day.
High of the day. So we really appreciate all the love here on the show. But really, I mean, if you've been long, there's a lot of love for you past couple minutes as well. Intel, again, $25. Wow. We wrote down yesterday how much we like that $24 level. That was yesterday. Today, $26. Intel continues to work it out for everybody that believed and does continue to believe in that name, Intel. Great little look there. Palantir, NVIDIA, the only two names that we have on board right there. The mistake of the day for me, Moderna. I don't have any problems with anything else. This will be the red name for me right here, all in all so far, is going to be Moderna. We have to make some money back on Palantir, but we're doing that, so we'll leave that one for now. But yeah, I mean, again, really like this position here for Moderna. We're going to have to wait to see if it does hold 52 again. We stepped up, but we got stepped out of that trade. So too bad for me on that one. Too bad, so sad. Love, Dad. All right, 54.80.
I like that one.
You do? Don't
Being a dad, obviously.
Yeah, don't steal it. That's
Too late.
Too late there. Don't weasel your way into that one there.
No, I mean,
all right. So there we go. Good outs again. We took some more out there on Palantir. I'm just going to let NVIDIA ride, to be honest with you, because maybe when we get back, this stock will be huge again. But I'm going to put another offer at 148.70. So if we can get back up there into that day's high, then we'll do that. NVDA coming back upside. Put an offer out there, 148.65 for a couple shares, and wait to see if we get that fill on NVIDIA.
Yeah, I mean, NVIDIA,
Tesla might be
it's a rocket ship on NVIDIA. I just want to quickly show, look, if you look at the higher time frame on NVIDIA, let me just show the weekly chart. You don't need to see all that nonsense. I'll just pull out the weekly chart on NVIDIA. You're riding so far away from 50, 200. This week is a big breakaway candle. And when you think that it can't do it, like the last time it had, when it does consolidation breakaways, they are nasty. Like that one, going back to the beginning of the year, obviously. But then when it broke out here, like the 100, the continuation was fantastic. So it looks a lot like the dip, back, the break. The dip, back, the break. And they haven't even reported yet. That's the thing that gets me. Like NVIDIA hasn't even shown us the goods. And when they do, it can be absolutely spectacular. So right now I'm only in Tesla. It's still cruising at that 297 level. I'll still have eyes on that DJT for sure. But I think when you're talking about a day like today, it just comes down to like, did you find a long? You cannot argue with any of the long trades out there. If you're in ARM, then I have no issues with that. It's up 6%. It bounced off that daily and was absolutely fantastic. If you're in Tesla, great. If you're in Amazon, great. Meta, they're all out there. And as long as you found yourself into a long, the continuation from yesterday's trade has been fantastic. Let's go see how the US dollar is doing, because that was another banger yesterday. If you were long USD, how is it doing today with Money Talks and Adara? Basically,
DXY looking a little grim, but before we get to that, I do want to quickly mention here AMZN, Amazon on watch, with a tweet from Ming-Chi Kuo. That's that Apple analyst who recently also has been tweeting about Tesla and NVIDIA. Supply chain analyst here. We know that his tweets can move the market. Tweeting today here, just a couple minutes ago, that apparently Kindle ColorSoft displays has some discoloration. And apparently this has to do with Amazon's use of a different open control architecture type. So keep an eye on AMZN with that story in mind, because we know some of these comments can move the market. We do have the DXY here creating to the downside on the day, giving up not all, but at more than half of yesterday's nice push to the upside. Now also back below that previous area of resistance and support at 104.50. Currently trying to hang on right now to 104.3. We had initial jobless claims slightly smaller than expected, 221,000 versus 223,000 expected. Non-farm productivity quarter over quarter, lower than expected as well, 2.2% versus 2.6% for the preliminary print for Q3. Then productivity here, lower than expected. There was also here the unit labor costs, which are higher than expected, 1.9% for Q3 preliminary versus 1% expected. Of course, the biggest thing for the US dollar today is going to be the FOMC meeting that's coming through at 2 p.m., and then at 2:30, we'll actually have comments from Fed Chair Powell. I have the Fed Watch tool up here. This is what people are expecting. 97.2% here, chance priced in of a 25 basis point cut. 2.8% chance here from what people are seeing of a 50 basis point cut. This is notable because there was a time last week where there was 100% chance here that people were seeing a 25 basis point cut. Now it looks like those odds are decreasing ever so slightly. It looks like we're pretty much 100% expecting 25 basis point cut, but let's be aware of that slim possibility. The Fed could cut more or not at all, guys.
I'm going to go out on a limb. And I'm not going out on a limb because I said this yesterday. We were talking about this with Chris Bretcher. He thought there was a chance the Fed could not cut. And I think that's, like, they've been way too good about telegraphing and letting the market know what they plan to do that. So I think it's too much of a shock for the market if they did that. I just wanted to update. I realized I didn't get a chance to talk about ARM. So ARM did eventually go back to break even. I put the reversion trade on. And again, all that happened at 151, it was just a read on it. The tape just started reversing and it looked very strong and it was an upward trending stock. So wanted to be able to get out of the way of it. So I did take another leg out there. So fortunately, when it got back to break even, we were able to stay net positive on it. But getting VWAP on ARM today is going to require something extreme, like maybe the Fed at 2 o'clock. You know, like that's the other thing. Like all of these moves, you got to watch out because at 1:30, you want to be making sure you take some profits because some of these things could get very different. Qualcomm just went red, and Elon Musk just said in the chat, Qualcomm next day drop. This is not the first time it's done this. I was just basically pointing this out in the aftermarket show because we've seen Qualcomm do this before, where when it goes up on earnings, if it doesn't hold initial support and the next day it's underneath that support, it just tends to bleed. So no matter how good things look, there's Qualcomm. It's trying to catch a bid right now, but yeah, unfortunately, Qualcomm did it again.
I mean, I appreciate all that kind talk there. Thank you, Anurag, and everybody else there for the comments about how impressive this trade was. But I mean, yeah, I just wish we had more impressive trades earlier, and then we would be actually up right now. We have to wait for this to settle down. We'll see where it goes. But another out rate there on that upside. We just had, we always try to put on not like a maximum crazy amount of shares or anything like that, but we do try to put on shares there at the beginning of the day. So when we get that initial drop down, it's a good thing we were patient with it all the way down here. So, and we just didn't want to not that there was going to be like a sour taste in our mouth or anything like that, but we got to be really careful when you're trading, right? And I think that that's something to just make sure that you have the right risk, the right everything. I want to thank you for the respect there on that and noticing about this trade. So it did make a big difference to my net today. So thank you for noticing that, and that's just part of the trade, right? All right, so then the trade of the day. So look, let me just go over this, and then we'll get over to what's for lunch, the most important segment that you will see today. All right, so here it is right here. Look, we missed this first trade, but it's not like it wasn't written on here. I mean, we could have just crossed a little bit higher. You could have got long into this name. So 290 Tesla, boom. IBIT doesn't get there. Palantir, 54 dip. So that's $1 in the money. There's NVIDIA, 146.50. So they're all there. The Moderna long is trade. We're out of that one. No good there today for mRNA. So we'll go L on mRNA. We'll go L early on Palantir, obviously, make it back late. And then NVIDIA is going to be the hot dog cannon of the day, for me. So that'll be a good one there into the close. We'll just wait to figure it all out. But I really like NVIDIA. It is dripping down a little bit. We'd said that we would get some out on the high side. Let's actually get some out right now. So here comes NVIDIA. We will take this opportunity to get some out, which we just did there at 97. So take that, get it out, and now we'll work on it, and we'll tell you what's for lunch. All right, what's for lunch today? I'm looking for the first time right now. Oh my gosh. If you said something about chicken, then you are correct. Because today we have roast. I feel like I'm saying the same thing every day around here nowadays. But actually, that might not be true. Roasted herb chicken leg. All right. Sometimes we get barbecue chicken. I like the jerk chicken, the good one. Roasted herb chicken leg, baked sweet and yellow potatoes. Steamed green beans. I love green beans, actually.
I love
salad with cherry tomatoes, cucumber, mushrooms, and sweet peppers. Have a good day. Thank you so much. That is what is for lunch.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Around here, yeah. Hopefully I got the tuna topper again. But remember, we have the brisket. So,
yeah, we're doing briskets, but the salad doesn't even matter today. Oh, that's good. See, good. Because now we can look forward to a little bit of brisket. Don't have to worry about what the salad is going to be because oftentimes we just get whatever was yesterday. For
I'm having problems with auto cancels too a little bit. I've just noticed.
Okay. I've noticed the same thing. It is what it is, but it's one of those things you can try to manage, but every now and then. So I'm back into Micron. I just wanted to quickly go over this one. I still have eyeballs. I mean, Tesla is trying to break 298 again. If it breaks, it'll set up a new trend line. So Micron, the first time, if we come to my chart for a second, only got 2 minutes to go. It's all good. The first time, it couldn't hold prior bar. This time, a little bit of a higher low, so we're back into it. I still believe this play works into 115.
Not this guy again.
But that 115 level on the daily does loom. I'm just going to show you on the old trade ideas chart before we get ourselves out of here.
I'm still trying to go. I'm still trying to go to. Go ahead, Neil.
No, it's a play into 115. 115 is its own level, triple top on the daily. So if it gets to 115 out of this and looking for a re-entry into Micron, which is only up 1%, but it's aiming for that triple top on the daily. The brisket's locked in.
But you have a temporary problem, and that is that I'm going to go do some swimming and then come back around 12:15. Is that fine for you, Randall? If not, then you can take El Robo Spracklet. I shouldn't say his last name. Tug Rob over to get some if you want. But I'll be back. When I'm back.
You got the salad before anyway.
Got the salad? Yeah, I got the
Yeah, we're locked and loaded already.
Oh, we're locked and loaded. So just letting you know, Randy seemed a little disappointed there. I was not able to go yesterday. The trading was insane, so I wanted to make sure that we were here for that.
There's 98.
Yesterday. Is Tesla's going to break?
98
well,
broke.
I might not be able to go then, anyways. If Tesla's going to,
if Tesla's at 300, I mean,
and I'm right here, right now. You're going to have your time to take the mic there, Obi. You don't worry about Obi in fine form right here today. He's like, we'll be swimming in Tesla. He's saying all this stuff. This guy never quits. And we love Obi and Joe coming through very, very soon. We want to thank Obi again. Fills in for me, Neil, Sharif, absolutely everybody.
You'll get them all week.
This guy must like money. All right, but thank you, Obi, again for filling in for us as you go. And again, look, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We've been really, really blessed to be able to find guys like Joe and Obi and Satay and Sharif and Adara to join us here. So, make sure you do that. JPM is dumping again. Is that
really
true? JP Morgan.
That's not good.
Chase 238. So I didn't sell any of this position yesterday or anything like that. I didn't really do any portfolio adjustments or anything yesterday. So that might have been a mistake, selling at the top. But if you sold Tesla at the top, then you would be saying what?
I sold CrowdStrike.
Right there. Okay, so yeah, there we go. So it's a little bit of portfolio management there, selling of CrowdStrike.
It's flat. No, I sold it because I like Palo Alto better, and I've been thinking that for a while, and I was looking for an excuse to get out of it and then reallocate that money on the next available dip into Palo Alto, although I'm kind of getting feels on some other names if we get some dips recently. Okay, so a couple of things. It's already 11 o'clock.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tesla broke 298, but it's back underneath. I guess that's the only real update. So if it cannot hold on to this trend, I think you could see a 295. We'll play it by ear. I mean, 295 is where it broke out last time. 296 or every even dollar is going to be in play. But you know what's up? And it is time for, it's not Sharif and Sataya. It is literally the opposite because it is Joe. It is Joe followed with or alongside of Obi. So welcome to the new midday. It is options numero uno of what is going to be a trilogy, promised by Joe, or maybe I just said it. Now
at least will be a sequel.
There will at least be a sequel and maybe 2 or 3 after that.
Trilogy.
Well, I'm guaranteeing a trilogy.
Okay.
Because Joe's reliable like that. So let's go on over to Learn to Trade.
Did he say trilogy? He did not. See? So now you're
doing it now. He just said he answers to the people. He's doing a trilogy now. Go get him, boys. We'll be back at 2 o'clock for the Fed. We'll actually probably be on a few minutes early.
Probably not. Probably yes, actually.
Usually we do.
We are 45.
50.
Forgot about.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to How to Trade. It's your boy Joey O, and I'm here with the people's champ, the one and only Obi.
What's going on, guys? How's everything going? How's your morning been?
Man, it's been an electric morning. I know you've been killing it as well too.
I mean, we made some good decisions. Let's say that.
That's what it's all. That's what it's all about.
They can always be a little bit better, but it was solid trading off the open there. Again, day 2 elections. Oh boy,
man,
we've had some crazy volatility. 2.5% gap up yesterday on the markets. I was like, what is this outlier craziness? But we're getting some continuation on a lot of names today.
Well, no, exactly that. And the options market had in about a 2.5% expected move after the election. So we came in right around that, and Obi's right. We had an absolute monstrous day. The floor has been absolutely rocking the past couple of days. So it's been some great stuff. Guys, we're going to talk some options shortly, but Obi is...
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah. First, we're going to introduce everybody in the chat. So let's see who we got here. We got Tiru. Hi. Kayla Mando. What's up? Tesla 330. Soon. Obi Bonkilla. Yeah, let's see. Who else we got? Hey, Davis. What's going on, brother? E. Lemon Musk. My guy. What's up? Yeah, we like it. Nicholas. Pitch Bull. The Piper. We see you in here all the time, my guy. Julie Backworth. Ravi Fernandez. Bonkzilla again. Darwin, let's go. And where's all my other people? Where are you? Darius Golden. But Obi, show them what you killed today.
I wouldn't say killed, but we made some decisions off on Lyft. got a little lift on Lyft as the bid kind of started to step up there, just over pre-market lows. It got a little bit nicer when it started pushing past some of these pre-market levels, and then pre-market highs as well through the 18. That was real nice, and a little bit of a dissipation of the bid as we pushed into 18.5. So I pieced off of most of that there. We did get up to 18.8s. Didn't quite hold anything for up there, but I think I'm content with the decision making. And of course, can definitely improve on certain parts, but we're going to be doing that in the review later tonight. Amazon as well. Oh boy, yesterday was a little bit of a, I guess, I did not trade it to the best of my abilities, I would say, yesterday when that Bezos bid lifted. Again, we observed that Bezos bid over and over again. And again, shout out to Neil. He was just like, the trade is to get short with the unusual seller until that seller lifts. And yesterday was the day that seller lifted. And I guess the long definitely came in long and strong. And look at this continuation coming into today as well. Something interesting to note as well, Joe, was that the closing imbalance, it ripped up to fresh day highs and closed above the day high consolidation above 206s, and we open up with a dip into 207s for a push past 210s right off of the open. Absolutely beautiful action here on Amazon. Day 2 continuation. Again, not earnings, elections. And the Bezos bid lifting as well. So some beautiful opportunities. Again, markets, all-time highs. 21,000. Hello, what's up?
Yeah, near and dear, absolutely all-time highs here on the Qs. It was lagging the SPY, and I'm like, it's only a matter of time, and that's exactly what we needed. So it wasn't much for the fire to get lit up under the Qs, and it breached, filled in some daily gaps, and then made some all-time highs. So that's something that we're really looking forward to, guys. But before, we're gonna hop right into the lesson here. We're doing introduction to options today, guys. So if you missed it, then here we are again. And then tomorrow we're going to do part 2 as well too. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We're going to get into the lesson of the day, and then we're going to talk some more stock with Obi and I. All right, guys? So buckle up, get your pens and papers, and be prepared to take some notes for today's lesson. So let's get right into it, guys. All right? So this is just the basic stuff that we're going to be going over today. We have options basics, the benefits and capital requirements, what exercise and assignment are, rights and obligations, all right? And then we're going to get into some fancy terminology with intrinsic and extrinsic value and how to calculate these values, all right, guys? So let's get it started. So what are options? As you guys are all familiar, a lot of traders like to trade options and utilize them for different meanings. So we're going to get into the basics of it, and then hopefully you can lead yourself into trading options as well too, all right? So options are a financial instrument that give the owner the right to buy or sell an underlying asset at a fixed price. You can trade options on individual stocks, ETFs, and indexes. Very simple. There are 2 forms of option types: call options for long bias trades and put options for short bias trades, all right? So these are the 2 vehicles that we're going to use. It's almost the same as buying long equities and short equities in calls and puts, all right? So when buying a call option, you are looking for the underlying asset to move higher in price. Very simple, as I just used the example of the exact same as equities or securities, is that when you buy a call, you are looking for that underlying asset to appreciate in price, all right? So when buying a put option, you are looking for the underlying asset to move lower in price. So it's the exact same thing as shorting. When you buy a put option, you're looking for the underlying asset to decrease as you would from an equity standpoint, all right? So moving on, those are just the basic fundamentals of what they are. And this is an options chart here, guys. This is a basic call option of Apple. And you say, oh, well, why is it valued at $1.48? Well, that's how options contracts are priced. So you really want to times that number by 100, because if it was $1.48, everybody would be buying them. But even so, when you buy this call option, it is significantly cheaper than outright buying equities. But there's obviously a catch that we will soon get into, all right? So this is just a basic charting of a call option. And as you've seen, and as you see here, it is very liquid. So when you do your own due diligence and you start going through equities and going through their options charting, you're gonna see some are a little more liquid than others, all right? So this is a basic call option chart. So moving forward, this is a put option chart. Exact same thing, very liquid. And when you scroll through other options, some aren't as liquid as well, but they're valued at extremely lower. But there's specific reasons why this is valued really low is because the market may be bullish on the underlying asset, all right? So just keep in mind, these are just basic, simple options charting. They look identical to the underlying asset, rightfully so, but they have slight differences, all right? So just keep that in mind, guys. We have that. Moving forward, so all contracts have these three characteristics, all right? This is what options will all have. Every single options contract will have these same characteristics. So we have a leverage multiplier, all right, an expiry date, and a strike price. All these three characteristics you will find in every options contract, all right? So one options contract equals 100 shares of stock. So one contract, 100 shares. Very simple. All options contracts will have a fixed price called a strike price in which you want to acquire the underlying asset. So once you start messing around on the options chain, you're going to see that there are different select strike prices that you can choose, which we'll get more into later. But first, you need to know what they are, all right? So you can select an expiry date on all options contracts ranging from 0 DTE to multiple years, also known as leaps, all right? So when you have something that is dated with an expiry a couple years away, these are classified as leaps, okay, guys? So moving forward, benefits and capital requirements. So this is something that really draws traders to trading options, all right? So they can leverage their positions because there's less capital requirements, all right? There are multiple benefits to trading options. One, as I just mentioned, capital requirements, ability to hedge stock positions, and multiple strategies to employ. And we'll touch on strategies briefly, all right? So, example, 100 shares of Apple at $227 will cost you $22,700. Pretty expensive, all right? So one Apple call option with 354 days to expiry can cost you as little as $2,700, all right? So keep this in mind, guys. When I say that there's a significant price decrease in owning the contracts, keep in mind you don't necessarily own those shares. You only have the rights to those shares, all right? And options contracts expire. So we're going to touch more on this, but you can see how you can leverage positions by buying call options opposed to just buying flat out equities, all right? So one Apple 225 put option with 354 days to expiry can cost you as little as $1,700. Again, you don't own those shares outright. You're not shorting them outright. You have the right to Apple at $225 for that price. That means you still need the underlying asset to depreciate in price in order to be profitable on that trade, but still you can see the leverage that you can get from using these vehicles, all right? So exercise and assignment, we're gonna touch a little bit more. We're gonna get into Obi, see what he's cooking up over there, and then we'll get right back into the lesson, guys. So hopefully you followed around there and see what you got. You took some notes and are prepared for the second half. What do you got going on there, my friend?
Sir, thank you, Joe, for that.
Yep.
Solid introduction to options lesson there, but it's not even over just yet. I'm just watching the market here. We're finally getting a bit of a pullback here on the ES. The first power bar low break. First red candle coming in. How much time is left for this 15-minute candle to print? I am seeing about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. You can see that hard flush coming in. So things are starting to pull back a little bit here. I am kind of watching some of these tech names here. Intel quite strong here. ARM, we saw that they had earnings today. 154.58 is the high of day right now as this market pushes to the upside there. TQs as well doing quite well. SMCI day 2 earnings showing us a little bit of that strength as well. So I'm waiting for Tesla as well. You guys can see I got that Tesla open up here on the left-hand side. Let me just pull up the tape for you guys here. TSLA right there. So yeah, it's knocking on the door of that 298.35 is the high right now, but we're looking for that 300. Let's see if that 300 can potentially come in with the market looking hella strong today. Now again, with that with the Trump win yesterday, we saw the aggressive bid coming in at 4 a.m. here on Tesla, pushing all the way up to 290s right there, and then that 290 break. Oh boy, there were definitely some players on that 290 coming in. I think there was over a few thousand lots right there, and then it just breaks, and we saw the break instantly. 1 point in the money right there. 291s were printing off of the break of 290 after that size got taken out. So absolutely beautiful. Now we're consolidating tightly in the upper quartile just underneath this 298 area here. So I'm going to be watching this to see if this can give us that 300. The market's on a bit of a pullback here, Joe. So might have to pack our patience a little bit for that level to come in here. But at this Amazon reversion, oh boy, I was like, all right, well, I was getting up from my desk here and I was like, oh boy, that 212 break, that 211.70s, I want to take it down into VWAP. And I'm like, all right, whatever, next trade, I missed that. The selling comes in quite aggressively here, but a bit of a support here at that 210 halves. Gives us a pop off of a bid that comes in just hovering above that VWAP. But take a look at this nice little pullback. To get involved for a quick scalp back down into VWAP. Let's see if those 210 half bidders are still there. As of right now, Joe, they're still holding that 210 60s 70s, so it seems like they're holding firm as of right now on Amazon with the market pulling back. But we shall see. AMD, oh boy, okay, so we're breaking some structure there on AMD. So like I said, I'm watching some of these tech names as well. So take a look at AMD. I kind of want to cover some of this as well while I'm talking about that. So AMD pulling back into VWAP. You can see the morning momentum definitely a little bit dissipated. 149 halves is the high of day. Didn't quite get to 150 there, Joe. So we're still kind of waiting on some of these levels to come in on a lot of these large cap names. Let's see if this market tailwind can give us any sort of oomph to the upside. We are trading above 21,000 finally, and we are trading close to 6,000 on the ES. These are some great times, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you got going on?
Absolutely fantastic times. I mean, everybody's having a great time here on the floor trading. And I'm just looking over here at ARM, my friend. We're slowly pulling back, as you would like to call it. We reverted back to VWAP, and I'm looking for an entry in and around VWAP. It's kind of looking like I might have missed it around 150s or 149s, but I think that we can still pull back. The volume is slightly dwindling, but what an absolute monstrous run that this stock has been on. It reported last night, price targets have been raised. It had a double beat, so this stock is absolutely on fire, and we're going to continue to look to join this momentum to the top side, right? So guys, for the first hour of the session, it didn't put in a red candle. And one thing that I always point out is the correlation between price and volume. And what I like to see here is that on these pullbacks, the volume is dwindling and we have nice, steady, consistent volume as we appreciate in price. So I'm going to look to get into ARM if it can pull back a little bit more and we can test VWAP, or if we fail to break this low here, then I'm definitely going to get into a position on that as well. I really like where NVDA is sitting. We are right at VWAP. It is up about 1.4% on the session. It's put in absolutely a couple monstrous days after I mentioned that the previous break of all-time highs was a little bit choppy, and I wasn't too favorable of it. I'm like, I would like to see all-time high breaks a little bit more clean and more conviction within the trade. But as we're sitting here, I really like NVDA for continuation and a possible second leg to the top side as we hold 147.62s. But I'm not going to enter just yet, guys, because I still think there's a little bit more to phase out and maybe a little bit more liquidity to grab and potentially pull back slightly more. But I do like what I'm seeing from a volume standpoint on this as well, even though we are pushing higher. And if we break this 147.80, then I might have to join this. My entry won't be as precise, so I'll give it a little bit of room. But a second leg here on NVIDIA, I'm really, really liking. I think the semis are a little bit strong. Sorry, guys, I just got to refresh my page here. The semis have been absolutely strong today, so we're happy about that. The overall market has been just absolutely terrific, and we're going to look to see what sectors are performing at its best right now. And I wonder, Obi, can you guess what sector is number one right now?
If I were to take a guess,
Take a guess.
I might say tech.
Tech, consumer discretionary. We got Tesla and Amazon leading the way, pretty much. Real estate in second place. And then the tech sector up 1.13% in third place on the day, my friend.
And third place.
Yeah,
right?
third place, but still close. Hey, first, second, third. If you're at the track, we got the place on real estate as well too. So, guys, in last place we have the financials down about 1.3% on the session. We know that JPM put in an absolute monstrous day yesterday or the day before. So a little bit of a pullback on the financial sector, and in second last we have the energies, and then third last we have the industrial, guys. And it's really unfortunate right now, Obi, NVDA is kind of taking off without me, so we're gonna have to wait for a little bit of a pullback to see where we can get in, my friend. What do you got going on?
Not without you, bro.
Hey.
I mean, we're getting a little bit of a pullback here, but yeah, a hold of that. What is that? Just above that 147.30. It would seem like. But yeah, the market's holding again. We're trading above 21,100 on the Nasdaq there as well. So we got to keep an eye on that. We are trending quite nicely. We are in a trending market here. Thanks for Ramin for pointing out that we do have a super chat that we kind of missed. So shout out to Kyle Burdett for the super chat. He says, sorry to hear about Sharif's injury. Cutting your lip when you're trimming your cornstar stash is beautiful. Is brutal. Sorry. I'm sure he gets. I sure hope he gets fixed up soon so he can get back here and smack asks with us again soon. Yes, Kyle Burdett. He will be back soon enough. I think he'll be back. He'll be back on Monday. And hopefully he's feeling much better there.
You just have to watch out with Kyle. You have to breathe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's nothing about that. Yeah. You never know because I've read them. Yeah, you never know with that guy.
Fair enough. I gotta watch for you, Colin.
Yeah.
No, thank you for that super chat here. Market's taking a little bit of a breather here as that bid starts to kind of step off a little bit. It is 11:20 right now. So yeah, that morning momentum taking a little bit of a pause. You can see that some of these tickers that were quite aggressively strong off of the open are going a little bit sideways. Amazon here, I got Tesla, watching some other ones here as well. Nvidia getting a little sideways, but there is one, Joe. There is one that is the alpha who is still running, and that alpha is Google right here. So Alphabet pushing to the upside, 179.37. So it is pushing some fresh highs on the day, looking a little, not necessarily distinctly different, but a little bit different from the rest of the market here. We were asking yesterday, where is Apple while the rest of the tech sector kind of runs up? Apple kind of was quite muted there while a lot of other things were just running to the upside. And today, Apple coming in with a little bit of strength here. Haven't really broken too far past yesterday's range right here. Yesterday's high being at 226s. We're trading at 226s flat just now, but we're consolidating nicely above VWAP after a strong opening drive that pushed through that 225 level. And we're holding above all those prices here on Apple as the Nasdaq holds its highs as well. So I'm just waiting for the next trade. Let me know in the chat. Let us know in the chat what you guys are trading. What is the next trade? That's what I'm asking. I'm waiting and watching. I'm patiently kind of just assessing. I don't have eyes on the whole market, so that's why we may need your help here in the chat. So people talking about Palantir. Yes, shout out to Palantir. I know that Sean was just talking about Palantir, and Palantir curling. Nice little curl. Look at that beautiful reversion to the reversion of the reversion. So opening drive fails to follow through, flushes down. Look at that, straight bars to the downside, holds 53 halves on the bid, bit of a lick grab, and then we get going for the reversion to VWAP up there. So if you were playing the reversion on the trend break, oh boy, definitely stopping some of those players out there and then ripping up. So maybe you want to be a little bit patient for that. That's what that price action is showing me, but that's in retrospect as of right now. 211 is coming back in here on the Amazon. So let me stay a little bit nimble with that one. I'll get out of that one and reassess a little bit later. We are on top of VWAP, and I do want to respect the bid there. And if we get a little bit lower and break below these 210s, break below VWAP, maybe we'll look for those pops to get involved with if the reversion is going to revert some more. But don't want to necessarily be fighting this action on the day today. Lyft, oh boy, Lyft is coming right back in here. So I guess the ride is over for this one as it pulls right back in. So let's take a quick look at that one right here. So yeah, that strong momentum off of the open. Look at that break back through VWAP, man. So we build the structure, we build a little bit of this flag. You were talking about, it's building a flag off of this view up here, but take a look at what happens when that flag breaks down. It kind of reminds me of Mark Douglas when he was like, patterns, chart patterns. We're always like, flag patterns is a bullish pattern. Well, not necessarily. The flag.
No.
What he says is patterns will repeat. what they result in definitely is random there in the market. So we got that little bit of a flag, but that breakdown back below VWAP and this aggressive selling right back down. We're trading at 18s, below 18s right now, but this could be interesting. Pre-market highs, some consolidation highs as well. I got some of these on watch. Pre-market lows as well. Opening range low just at that 17.5. And look at this earnings anchored right here. We keep talking about that anchored VWAP. Shout out to Mr. Shannon there. And yeah, look at that anchored coming in right off of the open, dips right into that anchored VWAP and then pulls right back up, holding on the bid. If you were watching the tape here, some reserves on the bid stepping up, some buyers stepping up as well for the push up into pre-market highs. And that bid does not calm down. That bid kept on pushing into 18s and 18.5s before that bid started to dissipate. So absolutely beautiful price action here on Lyft. Now, another name that I definitely missed, and I was talking to Wayne about this one as well. Shout out to Wayne for pointing this name out in the morning to me. I did not have any fills on it, but oh boy, this one was a banger, kind of giving you that opportunity. Similar kind of idea here. Opening range breakout there. Pre-market high break. App goes from 224s in the pre-market, 225s. Pre-market high break, guys, is at 234, so 235-ish. It hits a high of 257, Joe. So absolutely wild action there. So if you wanted points on the board, App lovin' definitely gave you some of that love in there on that opening drive there. So a lot of opportunities this morning. Let us know in the chat what you guys have been trading. But before that, what's going on, Adara?
Lots of sectors here. We're going to take a look at some of these names making big moves to the upside and the downside in the S&P 500. I would like to have a bit of a theme for this segment, so we're going to take a look at names in sectors that are making larger moves. So you can get a couple of different trading opportunities. First, we're going to start here with EL, Estee Lauder in the S&P 500, but this is a sympathy play as well with ELF and RL. Two other names you could check out. RL with a bit less volume, but basically ELF and Ralph Lauren both reporting this morning. EL here, Estee Lauder up about 6% today in sympathy with those earnings reports. Then we have JPM down about 4%. Wells Fargo also down pretty significantly. BRKB getting hit pretty hard. This whole sector taking a pullback after yesterday's massive rally with a lot of these names, including JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, all up over 10% after Donald Trump's election. Looks like a pullback, but JPM getting hit especially hard here after Baird downgraded them to a sell. Now, last but not least, here we have Vistra, VST. This one up over 10% today after earnings, beating their sales estimates here pretty heartily for Q3, $6.2 billion versus $5 billion expected. This whole sector, including CEG and NRG, also trading higher in sympathy, guys.
Wow, yeah, great stuff from Adara. We have a couple people in chat. So Microsoft deep in the gap. I'm in some 11:15 expire on the 15th 440 calls. Absolutely magnificent because I'm looking over here at Microsoft right now and this thing is absolutely monstrous. You know I'm a gap fill type player. So if you're in at these with the 440s, you bought some extrinsically valuable contract, which is fantastic, and you're going to gain some value in those because this gap is absolutely beautiful and I missed it. But one gap I did not miss, Obi, and that was the Qs. So we'll pull up the Qs here briefly. And I was fortunate enough to get in the after hours to play this gap fill, and then the market continuing to the top side, but I am out of that one for sure. So guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Come on, if you're liking the content, if you like Obi's analysis, if you like the lesson of the day, make sure you like and subscribe. So that's it. It's simple. Click, like, click, subscribe. Yeah, and even if you don't like it, says Ram, just subscribe to see if you do end up liking it. And I'm sure you will, because we got some star-studded cast here. These are unreal traders. We have Obi, we got Sean, we got Neil. This is a superstar, absolute all-star team. So that is. Oh, I know about it. But guys, I'm over here still looking at NVIDIA. The market's momentum has slowed down a little bit, as Obi mentioned. I am waiting for a little bit of a pullback here on NVDA. to see if we can continue and take that second leg higher. I was right. If I got in around 47.70s, then I could maybe be in this trade. But one thing I don't like about it is my risk to reward on that. I'm going to risk low of this pivot low here, and that just is a little bit too wide. So if I can get in a price around 147.60s with a little bit of a pullback coming in here on the market, then I will be happy with that one. But as of right now, it's just starting to crawl higher and higher, and I expected that. The all-time high break on NVDA wasn't as clean as I was anticipating or expected, but now it is much cleaner. Putting in back-to-back monster days, especially after the election, it's just moving higher, and I'm glad that it's moving higher because I mentioned this before on a previous show. In order for this market to continue higher, we need these big boys to participate. All right, so market breadth can only take you so far. You need the large weighted boys to get involved in order to continue this move higher. So with the Trump victory, a lot of analysts say, hey, this is great for the market. You're going to get some tax deductions and some tax leeway there, so that can fuel more into the market. So as you can see, we had absolutely monstrous days previously. So dear Ollie, Joe, did you get into the trade Qs? So I just mentioned my Qs trade from before. I played that gap fill. I am looking at this CrowdStrike. I know Adara likes CrowdStrike, so we're keeping our eye on CrowdStrike as well too, because we have entered the gap as well there. So I'm just sitting here, Obi, I'm just sitting here waiting for NVDA to pull in a little bit more so then I can take an entry on it, because everything as of right now seems slightly extended, my friend. But what's not extended is DJT, the winner of the election, the victor, down 20.73% on the session. Wow, oh boy is right.
Sell the news event.
Talk about sell the news event. The man who won is down 20.9% on the session. So guys, NVDA is continuing to go a little bit higher. I may want to take a little bit of this possible pullback on IBIT as well too. We did make all-time highs not too long ago, so we're going to look for the continuation and strength in that as well. So if we pull in just south of 43, I'm definitely going to look to wet my beak in that one as well too. What are you cooking up there, my guy?
Nothing much here. Ramin reminded me that today we got a goal for the midday, guys. So we got a bit of a goal for the midday. If you guys can see right here, if you guys want me on the afternoon recap with Sean, we're looking for super chats here, 30 of them. 30. So if we can get 30, you may or may not see me on the afternoon recap. So let's see if we can hit that goal today. We got 1 out of 30 so far. So I think that one was Kyle Burdett. So let's see how we do. We got 2 hours and 25 minutes. So we shall wait and see. And let's see what the people say here. But yeah, no, you're right. Market's kind of slowing down, but there are a few names, Joe, that are not slowing down at all. And Tesla is definitely one of them. And I'm looking at Softy as well. Take a look at this. Microsoft, super strong. Again, shout out to the chat. You guys pointed this one out, and I was like, oh boy, I'm not even watching that one. Hella strong to the upside there. And again, Google was the other one. We were talking about this one. Showing us a little bit of that action there, pulling back off of 179.5 as of right now. So a lot of these large caps definitely to the upside here. Tesla, I'm still waiting, man. We're trading sideways. Yes, we did break that trend, but the trend did not revert just yet. We've broken trend, but we're pushing sideways. So no real reversion happening as of right now. Okay, Nick W with the super chat. Saying, let's go, Obi. Thoughts on NET? Let's take a quick look at net here. Cloudflare. See what our friend Cloudflare is up to right here. So not really too much of a flare here in this price action. We did bid up quite aggressively yesterday into the close, but today a little bit of a sideways action. So maybe some consolidation before the next leg up. Let's take a quick look at a 15-minute chart here as well and go up on the time frames. Just taking a look at what our friend Cloudflare has been doing. What is this action right here? Maybe some catalyst here. Definitely doing some relative volume on this day as well. Thursday, October 10th. We've been kind of consolidating, pulled back into those lows where that bid came up from, apparently at that 86. And look at this push back up. All day bid yesterday, and we're getting a little bit more of the same today. Kind of choppy though. Still within the opening range is where we've been trading all day. Look at that opening range. This is a 15-minute these are 15-minute candles. That first 15-minute candle, opening range low at 94 and change, and the high sitting at 96 as we're trading at 95 halves. little bit of a sideways action there. Definitely, if you're looking for momentum, there are a lot of names on the board today that are pushing pretty aggressively. So let us know in the chat what you guys are trading. Again, SMCI day 2 earnings pushing for that 25 mark as well. So SMCI on watch. Look at how strong this one is. We did pull back aggressively off of that earnings, and we know that we've been having some bad news there. They had some I guess what was it? Fraudulent shenanigans that they got sold off on. SEC is knocking on the door of this one there. 2020 is the consolidation low post earnings there. So it didn't quite sell off. It didn't sell off a lot more off of that earnings day one low just yet, and we're ticking right back up into those 25. Let's see if some of this prior support here at that 25, 26 area turns into resistance today, trading at 24.71s as of right now. Wow, TQ is about to push highs, man.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft is absolutely ripping. We're looking at Microsoft here as well,
here
too,
goes
guys.
Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla's moving higher. Obi and I said 300 earlier in the day when we were talking back there at our desk. We're like, it's only a matter of time until Tesla has a 3 in front of it, and I think that's going to be before the end of the day. Absolutely, trading around 298, just under 299. Just under 299 bucks. We got some NVDA going on right now, guys. We're gonna take a little bit off the top here, but first we're gonna go to Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial, using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
Cool. Yo. Thank you, Fabian.
That's Fabian. So yeah, I mean, guys, Kendall Lopez, Joe W. got crowd called options with a strike price of 305, looking bullish on the daily and weekly. What are your thoughts? Well, I will give you my 2 cents right now, my friend, because I absolutely love CrowdStrike. I'm holding a position myself, looking to play this gap. I really like this gap fill. We have breached it, added some size at the breach of the gap, and then we're going to look to play the low of that gap down day. So I am bullish on CrowdStrike. They report, I think next week or within a couple of days, they report. So just be wary. Don't hold on to if you want to hold on to those options, just be aware that we do have an earnings report and you are going to have to expect volatility in that term. So I am looking forward to filling this gap here on CrowdStrike because I like CrowdStrike, and I've had this pointed out for a while, guys. So keep in mind, keep an eye out on CrowdStrike for that gap fill. I know someone mentioned Microsoft as well too, which we really like as well. So it's filling, it's still trading higher, making new highs of days, up about 1.35% on the session. And then we have Tesla up a whopping 3.4% on the day. And then iBit, we're still negative on iBit somehow, Obi. I don't know. We're down 0.5% on the session. But I'm looking for that to recover really quickly as we just made all-time highs yesterday and we broke that with conviction. That is something that I would be looking at, and I want to see those breaks with high conviction. You've seen the candle that it put in yesterday. You had the momentum. Look to break through with that momentum. And that's what we did. We had the ability to take advantage of that too. So that is that. Look, Obi, I got some trades to manage. What are you cooking up there, my guy?
No, I'm just looking at this super chat here from Volcan. Thank you, Volcan, for the super chat right here. AVGO and Meta, please. All right. And we got Chris Green as well coming in. Go hard or go home. Let's go. I like that. All right, so we can check. Thank you both for that super chat, Chris and Vulcan. We can check some AVGO and some Meta as of right now. So let's take a quick look here on that one. All right, so I did. So I did get stopped out of this Tesla here real quick, but I do want to kind of get back in and put that wrist back on right here. Let me just let's see if that cooks right there. So let's take a look at AVGO while that Tesla. Looks like it's getting a little charged up for that 300 push right here. So AVGO, let's take a look at this one. We know that tech is moving You said they're third sector that's leading, number 3, right?
That's
this
correct.
morning. So yeah, AVGO, nice little VWAP hold. It would seem. Look at this. This blue line is VWAP here. Yesterday, a bit of a chip chop action there, just trading within that opening range. Coming in today, stepping up above that, trading above 181 halves in that pre-market. Look at that imbalance. The opening imbalance holds that 181 halves, and then we grind to the upside there with that VWAP hold. A pullback in during the midday session here as well, holding that VWAP once again. So it seems like VWAP buyers are kind of there since the open here on AVGO. Let's see if that kind of continues going forward into the end of the day. 184.87 is the high, just underneath that 185. Are these all-time highs for AVGO? No, they are not. All-time highs coming in at that 186.42. So just shy, just about a point and a half shy of that all-time high here on AVGO there. And then Meta as well. I know I got eyes on Meta as well. Take a look at this beautiful action there. Look at that. We talk about a V-shaped recovery. This V-shaped recovery just kept on going there. I guess, in and around COVID. We had the drop here in March. We made a high up towards almost 400, pulls back all the way to 87. Oh boy. And we came all the way back. Look at that V shape right there and that aggressive bid. Look at that squeeze. I don't know if it's a squeeze or not, but that breakout of that 400 gives you almost 500 within the next couple of months right there. We're trading at 591s here on Meta today, and hella strong on the day as well. As look at that, can't even get down to VWAP there. It can't even get to VWAP. So those buyers are hella strong right off of the open. Look at this momentum that comes in, the grind up in the pre-market, pushing that 575 level for some fresh highs here. 585s is VWAP, 585.92s, and the pullback in the morning session right here, we were consolidating underneath that 588 level right here, making higher lows, and that break of that high. Look at this pullback again, that resistance turning into support over the past half hour or the past hour or so. You can see that low made around 11 o'clock right there, holding above that prior structure at that 588, pushing for some fresh highs. Do we see 600 today on Meta? I have no idea, but oh boy, are we kind of poised for some strong action today here. So let me see. Did we get another super chat here?
Oh,
yes,
we got a lot of super. They want to see you on the afternoon rundown, my guy. So
for sure.
Yeah.
So Nick W. Let's go through these one by one. How about this? I'll take Nick W. and you can take Kenan or Keenan. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Okay. Okay, you know what? One for Joe W. This one's actually for you.
For me.
Data Dog.
Data Dog.
All
right. Dude, read your
Nick
super
W.
chats, and then we're going to dig into
All right.
Data Dog right after that. You have calls for it, Nick W? We're going to let Obi do a super chat, and then we're going to talk some Data Dog.
Yeah, so I guess I'll take a look at DJT right here. So DJT, Kenan is asking for DJT. Let's take a look at DJT here. I did borrow some shares this morning and then didn't really look back at it. So let's see. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
All right. Okay. Deep breaths. Woosah. Rejection of pre-market consolidation highs. Continuation trade on the bigger picture. We saw that day one was yesterday. We sold off opening range lows. This was a huge trade. Again, that consolidation, that breakdown, that nice little capitulation in the pre-market session, pulling up all the way to 54. A couple of days ago, we were trading this, and I'm like, oh, this is starting to look like a bit of a squeezy action there. Kind of has that flush coming into what is this? Tuesday night. And look at that, nice little hold of that 32, halt down yesterday, and then consolidates for a nice little fade, and that continuation coming in on the day today, printing lows at 27.90. So nice little flush backside coming in here on DJT. Now taking a look at the higher time frame, just taking a look at some of these levels here on DJT. Let's see where we're sitting on this. So we're still within this consolidation, this chip chop that we've been getting since the beginning of the year here, and that DJT topping out here just underneath some of those prior highs there. You can see that high coming in at that 54.68 and pulling back in. Power bar low breakdown as well. We've been holding for the past, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. We were quite strong on DJT coming into those elections, and we're getting a little bit of a pullback here on DJT. Also, Joe, 299s.
Whoa.
299s on Tesla. We are poised. Let's get ready for that 300.
I told you, I think we're going to get that 300 break there, my friend. I think 300 was totally in the picture, especially after that opening drive. It was absolutely fantastic. So I think it's only a matter of time. We mentioned Danny Ives, our good buddy over at Wedbush, that he said he has a 3 in front of Tesla, but we are going to go to Adara, and then we'll get back, and we're going to do Datadog for Nick W.
Let's go.
We're going to talk about some earnings here, as we usually do every day around 11:40. But before we do that, really quickly, just seeing this note from S&P Global. They have some comments here on the tariffs that Donald Trump has promised in light of his election as of yesterday. S&P Global saying that these tariffs could actually increase U.S. inflation and drag growth. So they say that it's unlikely that Trump will actually be imposing these tariffs of 10% here, the 10% blanket tariff, and then the 60% tariff on Chinese goods. So they actually think that's pretty unlikely. Interesting note there, coming from S&P Global. App, though, APP, app lovin'. What a move here for this one. I know this was mentioned earlier today here, but up about 47%. Coming into, though, some resistance here at 248, which was a bit of a potential head and shoulders area earlier. The stock kind of rejected. We have to see what we'll do at this level. But so far, reacting positively. Strong guidance here, and also at EPS and sales beat. They also authorized a $2 billion buyback program. So there's a lot to love with App Lovin's report. Then we have Bros here, BROS, getting perked up to the upside here for Dutch Bros, this coffee chain, beating on adjusted earnings per share. They beat on sales, and they actually raised their fiscal 2024 revenue guidance. So there were a lot of reports last night. ARM, Qualcomm, Lyft, but who are 2 that you might have missed that make big upside moves? Now, what do we have tonight? A slew of reports here. So DraftKings, Arista Networks, Block Inc., Rivian, Affirm, Airbnb, The Trade Desk, Unity, Pinterest, Fortinet, Upstart, Cloudflare, Toast, Lucid, all set to report tonight. We're going to get a few of these here, though. I'm definitely going to be on watch, including DraftKings, reporting expected at 4:15 p.m. They're expecting a loss of 42 cents per share on revenue of $1.12 billion. Affirm could also be one to watch here, negative 36 cents per share expected for earnings per share on $661.39 million in revenue, as well as Rivian coming through at 405, negative 92 cents per share expected for earnings, and then revenue of $970.69 million. You can catch all of that in the market recap with Sean and I, and maybe Obi, depending on who votes, guys, or gets the super chats in.
All right, thank you.
All right, then, yeah, thank you, Adara. So, Obi, we're going to get into some data. 300, boom.
300 Tesla coming
in. Coming up, Dollar Club for Obi on Tesla. So, congratulations on that one. That's a monstrous one. But, Nick W., we're going to talk a little bit of Datadog, because what I'm reading right now, they had a double beat after their earnings report this morning, which is absolutely fantastic. And you get this pop up around 133. So, keep in mind, you have some calls. I need to know a little bit more information when your expiry is, when you bought them, and that specific strike price. So, I mean, it's an absolutely good look on Datadog. I know I know Jimmy Kramer likes it, our good buddy over at Mad Money. Jim Crater likes Datadog. A little bit of choppy price action through here. Not a lot of clean directional movement, but I mean, the longer this consolidates within this range, the bigger the move can potentially be. You have a good earnings report, so maybe this can drive it and help it break through this prior resistance we have sitting around 134.89s. But a good call there. I don't know if you took some profit at that rejection of the 133.97, so we'll call it 134s. So if you took a little bit of profit there on your contract, that's absolutely fantastic as well too. But if you have time until expiry, continue to hold on to this because you have a secondary trend here that can continue to the northeast side there, guys, all right? So good luck there on Datadog, Nick W. I would continue to hold on to those calls, especially after that solid earnings report. That's something you want to look into as well. So keep in mind that when you have these strong reports, if you bought those contracts prior to the earnings, so therefore you probably paid less of a premium, you get the increase in implied volatility, those premiums increase, so you might have just profited. Aside from just the stock appreciating, you get that implied volatility increase as well too. So we're going to hand it over to you in a second, Obi, but we're in some IBIT that is crawling to the top side, and we're going to look to continue to see if we can make a new high of day. If it breaks this pivot low around 43.11s, then your boy is out of the trade. What are you cooking up there, my friend, with that monster Tesla trade?
Yeah, I'm just watching this Tesla price action right now. 299's coming in right now. Let's see, market tailwinds definitely there, and you can see the Nasdaq pushing It's near its highs, and so is the ES here as well. Bit of a pullback coming in here on Amazon. So let's take a quick look at the Mag 7, see what else is pulling back here. A little bit of a Google pullback. Amazon's the only weakest one out of the bunch here. Apple pushing for fresh highs as well. Softy with a little bit of a pullback, but a point off of its highs. And yeah, Tesla 299.67 is the high right now. We're trading at 299.24. So that little last quarter above that 299. And I was just saying this 300 could be something. I can't really see how much size is sitting there just as of right now. About 800 lots I'm seeing as of right now. But we'll wait. Maybe it'll come, maybe it won't. But when and if that 300 does come, definitely going to be an interesting action there. Softy breaking prior bar low here on the 15-minute chart. So maybe we're poised for a little bit of reversion. We'll see. Amazon's already breaking its consolidation lows right here on top of VWAP there. I think if Amazon gets below VWAP and the futures take a bit of a pullback here and break this structure, maybe we get a little bit of a pullback across these names here. Look at that Softy come in quite aggressively there. As soon as I say that prior bar low has not been broken since the opening candle on the 15-minute. So if you are risking prior bar low on the 15-minute on Softy and you managed to find a place to get in, there was no reason to get out until just now when prior bar low broke at a low of 425.38 here. And you can see the market kind of pulling back here as well. Again, Softy being one of the larger constituents in the Mag 7 and the NASDAQ as well. Oh boy, SMCI potentially coming in for that 25 level, 24.95s on SMCI. Let's quickly pull that up and see if there's any size sitting at that 25 level here on SMCI here. So there's about 2,000 lots, just over 2,000 lots sitting at that 25. Now, I don't know if that's any significant size relative to anything else we've traded on the day, but let's see how we deal with that 2,000 lots at that 25 level on SMCI as it comes in. Let me pull it up for you guys here and put that filter on so we can look at it together as that size kind of comes in. Look at that right there, 2,000 lots right here on that 25 level on SMCI. Let's see if that comes in for a break. I'm also watching that 300 on Tesla as it consolidates and holds above that 299. Apple with a fresh high here. Let's go. Alphabet with a fresh high as well. Tesla, can you do it? You are the next one. And look at that, Softy reclaiming bar highs after breaking prior bar. That's a bit of a fugazi there. If you're risking that, it kind of grabs that and pulls right back up into that, in towards that high a day here. Here comes a 25 on SMCI. Let's see how we deal with that 25 here, Joe. That 25 is going to be interesting if we continue. Day highs as well. We can see that it's been quite strong. A bit of a dip off of the pre-market going into the open, but that VWAP reclaim and that push to the upside here, pushing quite strong. So, okay, 2,000. No, that's not 2,000. That's two books right there. EdgeX and EXP, kind of the same there. On the book, I do have a little bit of doubles right there. Let's see if any of this size gets decremented. Let's see if we kind of push through that ask on 25s. A bit of a decrement. Okay, we got 900 lots left on the EdgeX. Let's see. Okay, oh boy, somebody took them out all in one order right there. 2507s printing right now. Not a little bit of a lackluster push here. Didn't really get too far off of that breakout there, but take a look at the NASDAQ, man. The NASDAQ is pushing aggressively. Let's see if that 300 comes in here on Tesla, trading the quarters above 299s as of right now. Fresh highs on the NASDAQ, 21,184. Let's see if we can get to 21.2 on the NASDAQ. Some fresh highs coming in here on the ES as well. I think something we need to watch out for on the ES is that 6,000 mark, nice and clean, nice and whole. Let's see if we can get through some of those levels as well. Here we go, a little bit of a pickup on the pace here of aggression on the tape through SMCI. So we did stall a little bit there above the 25, but we're holding on the bid as of right now. What do you got going on?
You know what? We got someone in the chat, Obi. Brandon Welsh. Walsh, sorry. IronQ options are insane. Joe, can you please look? I have $10 calls up 550%. Wow, I don't ever want to sell these over a year until expiry. Absolutely printing up a storm. Congratulations on those. Can this thing do NVIDIA type things? Well, as of today, my friend, it absolutely is up 35% on the session, putting in an absolute monstrous session so far. So good luck on those. I mean, if you have so many, you never went broke taking profits. So, hey man, continue to hold on to those. You have an absolute monstrous day. So congratulations on that. The daily is absolutely phenomenal, as I mentioned before, up 35% on the session. So that is exactly what you want to. We had a big breakout. The volume was increasing as price was appreciating here. Then we have the dwindling volume, and then just this monster leg up. So the good look on IONQ. I was just reading into what they did because I honestly didn't know too much about them. But IONQ is engaged in quantum computing that delivers high-performance systems capable of solving commercial and research use cases. So, I mean, these guys, from what I'm reading, have an insane quantum computer. So good look on that. IONQ is the play of the day. Yes. This thing is up monstrous and continues to grind higher, Obi. But you know what also continues to grind higher, my friend?
Which one?
IBIT.
Okay.
Bitcoin, we are crawling higher. I'm into this position. Everybody knows that I am bullish on this underlying asset. I am looking for new price discovery within Bitcoin. We broke those all-time highs. We're about, I don't know how many months after that halving cycle, just under a year, but I think that we are going to go into that new phase of price discovery, and a lot of analysts have this thing as a six-figure underlying asset, and I am absolutely looking forward to that, my friend. But what also is creeping higher, as Obi mentioned before, is Apple still holding on to those highs of days, sitting at 1.84% on the session, and Google as well too, looking to push a little bit higher, sitting up about 1.7% on the day. So this has been an absolutely monstrous day, guys. Continue to lock in those gains, continue to lock in those profits, because Obi, you know what's at 2 o'clock, right?
What is that 2 o'clock?
Ooh, the interest rate. Our good buddy JP Jerome Powell.
Telling me the reversion man.
Ooh, yeah,
on his way.
you know what I mean? The reversion man may be coming out at 2 o'clock.
Let's go.
Okay, so there we go. JP
like
dunking on everybody. So we're going to have to wait and see, guys. With Jerome Powell comes an increase in volatility, so just be wary. Make sure you have those stops in places. Make sure you have, if you're using options as a vehicle, make sure you have stops as well, because that increase in implied volatility can give you some IV crush, especially if you're not in the money and the market does decide to dump. So just be wary of that. Lock in some gains, get those risk measures in place, because at 2 o'clock, Obi, we're going to have some more volatility in this market that is already going crazy.
Oh boy, thank you for pointing out that IONQ, man. I had it on watch this morning, and I'm like, all right, I want to take the reversion on this one, and oh boy, this one is definitely setting up for a potential reversion back down into VWAP. But again, you got to wait for that bid to dissipate. You got to watch the tape. You got to see that distinctly different action of that bid kind of stepping down. Where are the buyers gone? I have no idea, but it's so far, it doesn't seem like any sign of them leaving as of right now. As you look at that 15-minute prior bar hold since the open there on IONQ. Now, something I do want to point out, guys, is that I know this happened yesterday, and now some people knew about it, some people maybe not, but NVIDIA is the top constituent now in both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. A little bit closer to Apple on the Nasdaq, just a couple decimals away from Apple. But take a look at this. Definitely, again, these are weighted companies. Weighted ETFs here, and NVIDIA taking the lead past that Apple, really signifying the era that we are living in right now. It is definitely AI driven, and again, company that is selling the shovels is taking the top of the market right now. 299.60s coming in here on Tesla. Let's see if we can break some fresh highs there into that 300. IONQ, oh boy, thank you for pointing that one out. I'm going to stay patient for that one. I'm going hunting for some reversions today.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I don't know what's going on with the screen there. I think we're a little zoomed in, but that's okay.
When
you're looking at that tape, guess what happens? You start printing a little bit, and guess what I'm going to do a little bit here, Obi? I'm going to shave a little bit off this position. Why? Because we're pulling back a little bit. But hey, we're going to take a little bit off. I'll pull up my, what did I trade? My NVDA trade. We took a little bit off the top, but then we got stopped out break even here. So I'm going to go back to IBIT because I don't want to have to mess around with the dark pools on this right now. But we'll go over the NVDA trade shortly. But I am looking for this breach of high a day on IBIT, the continuation, the second leg, which I do think can happen. And there's Randy. Randy, show him where the money, there we go. Show him where the money is.
That order right there. We got to take him out.
Oh, there.
He's saying take out that order.
Take out that order, he says. And boom, it takes it out. What a coincidence. So there we go. It did. Nice. So Randy, the man of the hour, leading Bitcoin a little bit higher and higher as the session moves on. Yeah, Randy, there we go. So there we go. He doesn't even know. He just does it. He's a magic man. So good work there, Andy. Guys,
When Randy points, the bid steps up.
yeah, the bid
saw
step
that
up.
happen
It
live
keep
right
moving.
there.
And you know what also steps up, Obi? Google and Apple making new highs a day. The market is just absolutely amazing. This is great stuff. We're having an absolute ball, guys. If you have any options questions, make sure you throw them in the chat, because in a couple minutes we're going to dive back into the lesson, finish that off. And guys, Obi, we want to see this guy on the afternoon rundown, so make sure you throw those super chats in there so we see Obi and Sean at the end of the day with an action-packed list of earnings, my guy.
Yes, sir. Okay, so that 300 not really coming in just yet as of right now. 300, we're kind of consolidating. Again, we could pull back as well. Look at that 296 is that consolidation low where we started getting that bid slowly start to creep up towards that 300. So again, that's where that structure is lying, that 296 is. So I'm going to be watching that level as well. It's about 3 points away from that. Don't necessarily want to hold this this long all the way back down to there, but that might be a place to kind of watch as well. So let us know in the chat what you guys are trading today, what you guys are watching, and we can take a look at it as well. What is it? Carl saying AMD like a rocket, algo buying. There's a lot of buying, man. There's buying going on across the board here. If you look at some of these names, like look, you want to see consistent buying. Look at IONQ. Look at Tesla. They're all holding moving averages. If you're watching some of this tape, every little drip drop gets bought right back up and then pushes and grinds higher there as well. You can see that happening on Alphabet. Look at Google. When you pull up the chart on Google, it's very, very distinct. Again, sometimes players can't necessarily hide themselves, especially when they're trying to get aggressive with the ticker. And look at these buyers. And now I don't know who it is, and I don't care who it is. But it's showing, the chart and the price action here is showing me there's clear buying happening, not only on Google, but these markets here. And look at that clean trend, very, very clean right here. I'm sure if you throw up a moving average on here, none of that has been violated. You throw up a trend line, throw up whatever indicator that you want to throw on here, and it has been holding quite nicely. So we're going to be waiting for that to see how far that one takes us right here. And IONQ continues to push to the upside here. Who is lagging behind? Who is relatively weak? Who is not making fresh highs here so far on the Mag 7? Softy, Amazon, Tesla. Who else? NVIDIA as well.
If you're not making new all-time high or new highs, what are you doing then? Right?
I mean,
what are you doing? If you're not making all-time highs, then what are you
21.2 on the
doing?
DAC right now. 21,200
Crazy
testing on the NASDAQ. So let's see if we pull back off of this round number, man.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy because Google is continuing to trade higher and higher. And they almost wrote the obituary on this thing not too long ago before the earnings release. So Google being my second largest in my long-term account, I'm glad to see this thing continue to move because I've mentioned this to Sharif. You cannot doubt these big boys, especially something as massive as Google. It's so hard to bet against these guys. And I'll mention this again, and because I mentioned this before in a price action pattern from a daily standpoint, guys, and I'm going to bring it up one more time. Look at this. We have a accumulation phase. We sell off a liquidity grab distribution, whatever you would like to call it. And then you have another accumulation phase here. And then we rip to the top side and we break it. And we don't even come back. What was prior resistance, we don't even come back and test this fully as support. We just continue to rip to the top side. And I think it's only a matter of time before Google, lagging its peers, AMD, Meta, NVDA, that Google is going to make an all-time high not too far away because it's been on a decline. It has the antitrust into it. And then there's a lot of the ad revenues apparently is dwindling as well too. So keep that in mind. But the numbers say otherwise, guys, because this thing has absolutely been on a tear and continues to tear up 1.9% on the session. And that's exactly what we want to look at. Apple as well moving higher. So iPhone sales, upgrade cycle, it's only a matter of time, my friend. What do you got going on there?
Yes, sir. So we did get stopped out of that. Tesla. Again, just had a feeler on for the push into that 300, and that 300 does not come in. That's perfectly fine. We are taking a bit of a pullback breather off of this 21,200 here on the NASDAQ. So I will stay patient for that one. But 180 incoming here on Google. So let's see if those buyers persist through that 180. Let's see if those dips continue to get bought up. Look at this. We're back into that range on Tesla. I was talking about that 296 level potentially being an area of interest here as that consolidation held. The consolidation lows sitting at that 296, and we couldn't really get through that 300. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take a little bit of a dabble pre-300 for the push into it, so that if I can get that 300, I can sit pretty with an average much below. But that doesn't really come in, and that's perfectly fine. Let's take a relook here at that 296, but that reversion potentially coming in as well. Who knows? But this market is hella strong. Maybe we're just taking a breather off that 21,200 on the NASDAQ here. Oh boy. Prior bar low break here happening on IONQ. Let's see if that's all she wrote there. But I'm going to stay a little bit more patient for that IONQ. Again, we've seen how again the first break may not be the break, but sometimes it is. Who knows? You got to be watching the tape. You got to use some of that discretion as well on those trades. But IONQ, bit of a pullback here off of that market, pulling back as well. So let's see if this one will have us here. What is the high? 22.59. All right, so that's about a point of risk here as of right now. So I'm going to stay a little bit patient to see if any of those pops fail to follow through. We're stepping right back up onto 298 here on Tesla. Joe, so what do you got going on?
Yeah, some people in the chat here, Obi, and it's a valid point. Someone mentions it's like we're so short-term overbought. Why would you chase it up here? Well, we're price action traders, right? So we're going to try to follow the momentum. We're going to look for a continuation in the strength. We don't want to fight the strength. But you're not wrong. We are slightly extended and overbought on the session, and maybe even debatably over the past couple of days, especially after the election. But don't fight the trend. Continue with the strength and accept the fact that the market is strong, and we're going to look to continue. Hey, I mean, if we do a little bit of a move if we do it, we're not going to call it a chase, but if we place a trade when something is extended, we're not going to hold on to it very long. We're going to accept the fact that, hey, maybe we are slightly extended, but we're going to also want to be participating just in case we do continue to go to the top side. So keep that in mind, guys. You don't want to chase. Make sure you have a playbook for these trades in order to execute those, and don't hold on to them because, like I mentioned before, we have a big event at 2 o'clock. And then also we may be short-term overbought as well too. So keep that in mind, guys. Make sure you have those stops in place. Make sure that you have your trade plan in place and that you're ready to execute just in case your thesis doesn't play out accordingly. And that happens all the time. It's a part of day trading. And day trader cut, you know what I'm going to say right now. It's part of the game. So just make sure you have those stops in place and you have those risk measures, because otherwise you're just going to get chewed up and you're going to be a little bit mad. And you're like, oh, well, why did I do that? Why did I do this? Well, hey, you didn't follow the game plan and you didn't have the right stops in place. So Google's starting to come back in a little bit here. OB trading around $197, still up 1.7% on the session. But one thing that is still crawling a little bit higher, and I do have firm belief in, is that Bitcoin is going to go and test the high of day and then hopefully break it. And that's what I will be looking for. But we're going to need a little bit of more momentum. This isolated volume signature isn't really much. I wouldn't call it standoutish. But as you reach the higher time frames and the volume starts to pick up, that's something I'm going to keep an eye on. I think it wasn't record inflows, but the Bitcoin ETFs had about 780 million in net inflows over the past day or so, and counting. So keep in mind the money is flowing into these ETFs, and that this underlying asset after Donald Trump won just continued to soar and soar. So I am looking for price discovery, and with that can come a massive appreciation in price, and I think that's what a lot of Bitcoin. So what we're going to do first, as Apple is making almost new highs of days, we're going to go over to Adara, and then it's Neil's lesson of the day, guys.
Lots of strength in this market here, but we have the Q outperforming the S&P 500 by almost double. So the NASDAQ here, even with that little pullback, up 1.33%, and the S&P 500 up about 0.65%. We're going to have to see how these perform, though, as we await the FOMC meeting. Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking at 2:30. We're expecting the Fed to cut by about 25 basis points at 2 p.m., but the odds of this cut have actually been decreasing the closer we get to the meeting. Again, this is all speculation until we find out what the Fed has to say. We did have some comments coming from S&P Global about Trump's proposed tariff, saying that it's actually unlikely he will institute them because a 10% tariff and the 60% tariff on Chinese goods is really likely to actually increase U.S. inflation. So interesting comments there. But we're also seeing inflated prices for a lot of these Mag 7 names. Meta here breaking out of a multi-day range in between 560 and 572, now trading near 600, but pulling back. Next up, we have TSLA, also up about 3%, near that key 300 level. Right now, though, just below 298. Exciting stuff on these markets. And with that, we'll get comments from Neil and his lesson of the day. Take it away.
Thank you, Adara. The lesson of the day today, when to abort your plan. And most times you got a plan, stick to the plan, right? You don't want to Leroy Jenkins anything up in here, especially when you're trading and money's on the line. But there are moments where you might have to throw a little bit of an audible because something distinct has changed with regards to that plan. And a lot of times it's going to be playing it a little bit by gut, but you have to be extra cautious in certain situations. Now, if it's working, and if a trade is working and it's doing everything that you expect, that is not the time. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about a situation where you see something awry and maybe you want to take risk off or you want to abort. Very different from, hey, if it's working, let it continue to work. You don't want to panic when things are starting to work for you. That's the wrong attitude in trading. So I'm going to come up with an example here, and it's going to be in ARM. And I think I'll start with the one that's easier because ARM was a rocket ship today. Ideally, you want to be long in something like this. So immediately when going against the grain for mean reversion, a lot of times you'll wait for the perfect entry. It gives you the perfect entry. You have a plan of action, which if you follow along with some of the reversion plays, yeah, I'm looking to scalp out in front of like the first resistance level and then hold into VWAP. So ideally, like I'm allowing it to work down. I'm not going to double out in front of an even dollar like 152, 151. I'm waiting for the push into 150 at that particular point. But then you've got to remember the context that's going on. Why is this a little bit unique? Okay, so yes, it's a mean reversion trade, but there's a few things that I've got to factor in here. One, the market is bat-you-know-what crazy today. Two, ARM did a bit of a trap short reversion long, which makes it a little bit extra bullish. And then three, you've got pretty much everything in the space screaming that is in Qualcomm to the upside. So there's a lot of reasons why if something doesn't feel right, I want to have the ability to jump out of it. And that's pretty much what happened. It got to that first spot. There was support. And then all of a sudden in the tape looked very strong. The buyers in that 151 reemerged en masse. I elected to get more out, stop it out, break even. Obviously, this ended up being wrong because I could have held right back in. And then if I doubled up, it would have been a good trade if I just go back into it. But this was a case where aborting the plan to me made a little bit of sense based on those factors, the extra strength in the market in that point, the fact that ARM was maybe going a little meme crazy in that aftermath, but it just led to a pivot. And I don't mind that kind of pivot. There are times where you want to stick to the plan and other times where I think sometimes you want to be a little bit more cautious. Now, here's another one in DJT. And it was a couple of times in DJT where it was short sell restricted. I'm looking for the press. It's usually into VWAP. It did a trend reversal. First time gave VWAP. Okay, that's great. The second time is an even deeper trade. Trend line down. Breaking it out. Big reversion candle. And this time I moved my stop up. Now, in this particular case, you have to keep a few things in mind here. It is a perfect setup for a mean reversion trade. About as good as it's going to look. It's got the bottoming tail wick and everything you could want in that kind of a trade. However, it just could not bust